52 hours. The advantage of this system is that the villages that are going to be likely to be affected could be identified on a forecast mode, and you communicate this to the administrator for making necessary management or evacuation or whatever administrative measures are required. Coming to the tropical cyclone hazard management, this is one of the best examples where an efficient early warning system has helped in drastically reducing the human loss. This you will understand when you compare the number of lives lost due to the super cyclone of Odisha and what we see to happen for cyclones of comparable strength or whatever speed. So there are three important inputs, and this operational cyclone early warning system established by IMD has satellite data as one of the prime inputs, and we see that the INSAT 3D and 3DR data goes as an input to the model for near real-time monitoring as well as for the early warning. And INSAT satellites are able to be operated on a rapid scan mode so that you collect the information about the cyclones in every 4 minutes. Second important satellite data-based input is the wind vector, ocean surface wind vector data that comes from the scatterometer on board the OceanSat satellite. And this is an important input for cyclogenesis prediction as well as for cyclone geolocation estimation. And we have seen that over a period of time, this has given a probability of detection. That means the scatterometer-based cyclogenesis prediction has given a 100% probability of detection for a mean lead time of 72 hours. And the third important aspect is the three-dimensional humidity profile that comes from we had the Saphir sensor on board the megatropic satellite that is not there now. Now, Space Application Center has developed a microwave humidity sounder that can fit into a small satellite, and that is put in the Microsat 2B satellite, which is currently collecting the humidity data on an experimental basis. So coming to the forest fire, this is one of the examples where the satellite data is used for near real-time detection of the event. Using the mid and thermal infrared channels available on global satellites, an operational system is developed at NRSC. So nearly 6 to 8 times the near real-time fire detection is done on a daily basis throughout the fire season, that is from January to June every year. And this detection, as I was telling, through an automated processing chain. So the near real-time fire detection database is then transmitted to Forest Survey of India in Dehradun. They do further processing and generate state-wise forest fire detection database, and that is transmitted to the nodal officers in the state for appropriate validation as well as management measures. And under the program, what we focus on now is the fire risk index mapping, and that is based on the inherent characteristics of the forest, the topography, the weather parameters, etc. Second aspect is identification, automated identification of long duration fire events, and the automated assessment of the burned area from such events. And this system is now established in Odisha and is being likely to be extended for further areas in the country. Coming to the landslides, there are two aspects. First is landslide inventory and corresponding damage assessment. National Remote Sensing Center has developed a semi-automated approach using which you can detect the landslides. So you generate the inventory of landslides after every monsoon or after major triggering events like a flash flood or earthquakes. And this inventory over a period of time has helped NRC to bring out a landslide atlas for the country, accumulating the data over about 23 years, and more than 80,000 records are there in this one. Second aspect is the landslide susceptibility and early warning for rainfall-induced landslides. So this system is experimentally implemented for major pilgrimage as well as tourist route corridors in Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, as well as in the northeastern region. Now, National Remote Sensing Center is upgrading this experimental early warning system by integrating the slope movement that is being captured through the interferometric SAR data. So they have launched a national program called SILAS, that is Satellite Integrated Landslide Assessment and Alert System. So in addition to the support for management of various disasters, the program also has some other developments. First one is a national database for emergency management, or NDEM. So this is a comprehensive multi-scale database for the whole country at multiple scales. And the NDEM is also now configured or customized for NDRF, National Disaster Risk Recovery Force, for their operational applications. And another important highlight of this current version of NDEM is its real-time alerts from the various forecast agencies getting displayed in the system. And it also has capability, local language support for the benefit of state-level disaster management personnel. Coming to the next aspect, what ISRO is supporting to the ICRER. So you might be aware, Ministry of Home Affairs is coming up with integrated control room for emergency response. So this integrates the disaster management activities of all the stakeholders, and it will have integrated functionalities for emergency communication, then rescue or relief, damage assessment, internal security application, etc. Our role in ICRER there are three types. One, National Remote Sensing Center is providing technical consultancy, technical support for establishment of ICRER. Second, the data and services from the national NDEM, National Database of Emergency Management, will be replicated under ICRER. Third is that ISRO will also be providing support, training and capacity building on disaster management applications. So our chair was mentioning about communication and navigation support for disaster management. This is also very important. We have three important developments. One, we have two-way MSS, that is Mobile Satellite Service Tracking Terminal, that can be installed on boats or ships in deep sea, so that in the time of an emergency, they can send an emergency message which goes to the control room, and they can get the help on rescue. Second is the distress alert transmitter, or DAT, that uses the data relay transponder on board the INSAT satellite. And here also, now the current version integrates NAVIC services also, so that the location also gets captured in the message that goes out to the control room. Third is satellite-aided search and rescue, that is COSPA SARSAT initiative. It's an international initiative. ISRO is supporting this by providing both satellite, satellite infrastructure as well as ground infrastructure. You see, more than 2,350 lives were saved in about 163 incidents since 1992 through this search and rescue. The next aspect is about capacity building. ISRO provides capacity building on the use of space technology for disaster management on a continuous basis for the benefit of officials from various ministries and nodal departments. ISRO is also collaborating with various academic institutes as well as national level research institutes in the country for leveraging their expertise for capacity building, as well as for developing innovative applications which can be translated for operational disaster management support. There is also an active international engagement of the program with international initiatives related to disaster management, like ISRO is signatory to the International Charter on Space and Major Disasters. ISRO is also collaborating under the Sentinel Asia initiative, and also with various other initiatives of UN or Indian Ocean Rim Association related to disaster management. I have 2 minutes more. Yes. So I can just mention about a few upcoming infrastructure that is planned for, which are useful for Earth observation. One, we have the next generation ResourceSat series of satellite planned, and 2 such satellites will be able to give 2-day coverage for the whole country with the 20-meter resolution. That is going to be very useful for the disaster management activities. Second is a resource-sat sampler that is having 1.25 meter panchromatic stereo data, so that you can have very high resolution, better than 5 meter posting DEM for the country. Third is a constellation of high resolution satellites with 1 meter panchromatic image, so that you can have daily revisit of your areas of interest. And we have 2 more radar imaging satellites coming up. One is RESAT 1B, that is a replica of the in-orbit radar imaging satellite 1A, so that these 2 satellites will together give 8 to 9 days of repetitivity. That is very useful for mapping floods and related disasters. And we also have the NISR satellite coming up in the beginning of next year. This is NASA ISRO satellite having L and S band. This is also going to be very useful for mapping flood and all related disasters. So this is my last slide. So we have achieved programmatically, the goals are more or less achieved, but still we can improve things. First is that we need to evolve better understanding. We need to evolve better understanding of the physical processes that are underneath most of the disasters, so that their occurrence can be understood or predicted in a better way in space and time. Second is that we also need to implement better infrastructure for event-driven sensing. That means if a disaster occurs, automatically the constellation will try to focus the attention on that area. And then onboard data processing and dissemination without losing time. And third is that we also need to evolve improved assessment of vulnerability, coping capacity assessment, etc. And we need to adopt the best practices on a continuous basis, so that that happens mostly with the international cooperation. So sorry for overshooting the time. I would like to stop here. Thank you so much.
So now we invite Dr. Mrs. P. Srilakshmi. She is from NRSC, National Remote Sensing. Yeah. Yeah, there is some issue. Okay.
Madam, you have to complete the presentation in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Indian wala. Second wala. Can I operate from here? Yeah, good morning, good afternoon everyone. So today I'm going to talk about the project called National Database for Emergency Management. So actually you have seen various organizations, they work in disaster management. Like Central Water Commission, they give you the alerts about floods and this thing. IMD give you the alerts about cyclones. And NRSC will give you the space-based products in near real time. So whereas the decision maker is concerned, he needs the inputs all at one single platform. So he wanted the information in integrated mode. So wherein the NDM concept comes into the picture. So there are 3 main objectives of NDM. So we are implementing this particular project at the behest of Ministry of Home Affairs. The first objective of NDM is to integrate all the geospatial database of entire country in single platform in multi-scale. And the second one is for this entire state data is organized in 1:50,000 scale. So government MHA has identified 350 multi-hazard prone districts. For this the data is organized at 1:10,000 scale, and 496 class 1 towns where the population is more than 1 million, the data is arranged at much larger scale, maybe at 1:4,000 scale. So having the data in place, we need to generate certain decision support tools, as users directly cannot use the data. And for disseminating this information, you need to establish a infrastructure. So NRSC at Shadnagar, we have already established data fort infrastructure with all servers, network and all. So this particular system will be acting as a disaster recovery site in the event of ICRER, that is Integrated Control Room for Emergency Response in New Delhi. So that is one. So then we can arrange this thing into this particular. Yeah. So this is basically a geoportal. So the moment if you log into the geoportal, this home page will appear. So this home page is open to the public, wherein if you want to have the access for large scale database and adaptation support tools, user credentials are required. Basically this portal is developed for the disaster management and MHA and all state DM officials. So the first left hand side of the portal, you can find the current disaster specific news. So continuously we will be polling all the news channels and disaster specific news and social media tweets also. So we will be fetching the data continuously on various disasters. So and where are the alerts and warnings are there, the CWC data of river gauge water level station is also integrated into here. IMD data of near real time of weather forecast and city weather forecast for 7 days, that is also integrated. Whereas services of MOSDAC of SAC, whether it is rainfall, early warning rainfall forecast, or it is a cloud burst information, or it is a heat wave or snow wave, all these things are integrated in one single platform. It is categorized into various disasters. So if you open each hydrological, you will find the information about the floods, cyclone and other things. So one by one I will be explaining you. So what kind of a database we are having in India? So if you categorize into base data, thematic, infrastructure, so the technical group has formed, they have identified the essential database elements which are required for dealing with any disaster. It need not be only a natural disaster, it can be a man-made disaster also. So these are all the under raster data. We are having satellite data and satellite derived products also, starting from the resolution of 5.8 meter to sub-meter data we are having, basically for a better visualization and to complement this vector data. Under base data, you are having administrative boundaries, hydrological data, road nail network. Under infrastructure data, you are having hospitals, airports, helipads, etc. And more than that, we are having more than 12 million point of interest, so that anything can be useful during the emergency situation. So this is a very vital information is required. Thematic data is a derivative of the satellite data, land use, land cover, settlement area. So all these things are continuously, time to date, they are updated, point of interest are updated every quarterly. And non-spatial data, of course, the census data, IDRN, Indian Disaster Resource Network, about the relief and rescue equipment, health database, socio-economic data, all are part and parcel of this disaster management. So this, we have made an effort to keep the data in one central location, so that for decision maker, it will be an easy thing to reduce the turnaround time for relief and rescue operations. So under emergency response, what kind of a services we are having? So what are all the products that are generated in near real time by NRSC or any other agencies? It will be ported into Indian portal within near real time. So either it is a flood delineated product, or it is landslide damage product, or earthquake related products, immediately it will be hosted onto the NDM. And of course, whether the state stakeholders are there, and SMS alerts also will go to the concerned state departments are there. So, and also geospatial tools are there. We are having evacuation tool, we have proximity tool and network analysis. And incident reporting mechanism system, basically we have developed this particular module to suit the requirement of NDRF officials. So when before proceeding to the field, they require the approvals from their local battalion heads and as well as the NDRF headquarters also. All these approvals are inbuilt into the incident reporting system. That incident can be reported either through mobile app or to the desktop version also. And it can have a this thing of giving the field photographs to know the situation assessment. Yeah. So and portal is also equipped with the inbuilt SMS system. So you can broadcast the SMS during the alerts and warnings, and also you can send an email up to more than 5 MB data you can send through the email system. The main concept here is during the emergency situations, user need not go to different portals or different means for communicating. So the data as well as the communication will go from NDM portal itself. So resource management, basically it will give you the information about allocation, reallocation of essential commodities during the emergency. IDRN, I will explain you in the next this thing. And we are also having mobile apps for collecting the field data, also to enrich the database. So all the SMS alerts is for each and every module, whenever there is a product is updated or any damage assessment thing is there, so the SMS alert it immediately goes so that they can immediately refer to the portal for further details. So these are all the examples of the products in near real time. So what kind of a products we are disseminating through portal. These are all the examples. So this is the recent Sikkim Chungdam dam data, and as well as South Rohtak lane. Everything is available in the portal. One can have a look. This is another example of damage assessment products what are available. And top of it, what are all the historical database available? Not only the current data, the historical data is available from 1988 to till now. So that data is also integrated. So that will be a ready reckoner for the people to assess the vulnerability or the hazard situation in the particular location. So when it comes to decision support tools, the basic tools what you are having is evacuation plan. So if you see, once you have any disaster specific layer, it could be a flood layer and any other layer, immediately it will try to interact with the administrative boundaries and give you the list of villages which are affected. The moment if you click on any village, it will try to give you the best and relief shelters based on its proximity to the infrastructure, based on its elevation and certain parameters, so that it will be useful for evacuating the people during the emergency situation. Apart from that, in a given buffer of up to 25 kilometers, what are all the emergency facilities are available, whether it could be hospital or at relief shelters, that kind of information is also available. And suppose if you are having attribute information about the hospitals, about what kind of a specialization is there, how many beds are there, and other ambulance service is there, if it is inbuilt into the system, that information is also made available. And route analysis, it will give you the optimal route between the source to destination. So based on the distance and as based on the time, that information is also made available in the NDM. So this is the incident reporting system. As I told you, the moment the incident is reported, it will be reflected into NDRF portal as well as the state portal also. So they will have a tool for either approving the incident or for closing based on the authenticity of that. So by this they will act upon, and the SMS alert will go to the headquarters as well as the battalion heads, and they have a provision to see what all the historical incidents are occurred in the past and what kind of action is taken by NDRF. That kind of a querying and report analysis also can be done using the incident reporting mechanism. Interaction tool, as I told you, so AP state government, they are vigorously using this thing during the alerts or flood season. More than 3,000 SMSs are being sent through portal to the various districts or up to village level. So that IDIM data is basically we are getting from NIDM data, NMDM. So they are giving you the information about the location of the relief and rescue equipment. So where it is available based on the disaster type. Suppose if you are looking at the flood, so whether flood jackets are available or floating boats are available. In the case of earthquake, whether you have the cranes are there, that kind of bulldozers are there, that kind of an information, where it is available, how much quantity is available, what is the contact number, including the geospatial viewer also you can use this information. So apart from that, we are having the mobile application also. The entire portal is made available in the form of an app, that is NDM Lite. So all the essential services which are related for the field level operations, they are integrated, and this mobile app is developed. And basically other map is there, that is relief management app for incident reporting. Relief management is basically for SOS kind of an alert. Suppose if you are stuck in any disaster location, so that particular latitude, longitude will be reflecting at the control room. So then if you are having the breathing time, one can report using the multiple photographs, and suppose if you have any need about food or medicines, that also can be from mobile app, they can translate to the control room. And geotagging, geospatial data collection, basically to enrich the database, suppose which is not available any such this thing, these maps can be used for enriching the NDM database. So as Sarah has explained in the previous we are having also hazard atlases which are prepared by NRSC using the historical data. Those are also uploaded into the NDM portal. You can have a look. So early warning system, you are having special early warning system for two rivers, that is Godavari and Tapi under NHP. And surface runoff products are also available. Basically, these are generated based on the rainfall alert and the under surface properties are concerned. So this will give you an indication about the likelihood of flooding in the country. This is also one of the major input for planning the satellite data during the monsoon season is concerned. And the CWC, whatever the 5-day flood forecast is there, now they made it 7-day flood forecast. That is also integrated into NDM. So during the cyclone season, what all the IMD gives the cyclone track, immediately within no time it is updated in NDM. Apart from that, we generate the buffer maps also. So giving the what kind of villages are likely to be affected and what emergency facilities are available. This map will go in the form of GeoPDF to the users. In the form of WhatsApp also, this information is being disseminated. So apart from that, we have developed one geospatial viewer. So these individual systems you are using individual modules. So all these things are reflected in pan-India disaster alerts or warnings. So on one map itself, you can click and see where the disaster is there, where the IMD nowcast, where it is available, where the earthquake incidents are occurred, or where the water levels are overflowing. That kind of information you can see only in one single window. So for MHA or any control room person is concerned, this will be a ready reckoner for them to assess the disaster situation across the country. So in that recovery planning, we are having post-disaster need assessment tools. So basically, this is developed by NIDM. We have implemented this for all the 14 sectors are concerned. So this is in a nutshell about NDM is concerned.
Thank you, madam, for a very interesting presentation on National Database for Emergency Management. This is one of the very important data as per the disasters are concerned in the country. It's a good compilation by Department of Space. Thank you very much for your presentation. Now, we'd like to invite Mr. S.K. Sazid Mahammad from Space Application Center, Ahmedabad, for his presentation.
Good afternoon. Connected.
So you have 15 minutes, so please complete the
No problem.
on time.
Good afternoon, myself Sazid. Here I will be talking about mostly insert series of data products that we are generating. As you may be knowing that insert being a geostationary satellite, we have series of continuously 3D insert 3D and 3D are currently working condition. Both are staggered at the 15-minute interval. So full globe we are being able to scan at a 15-minute interval, in the sense staggered images we are getting. So these images give us repeated acquisition in every 15 minutes. These images are basically acquired at both SAC Ahmedabad and IMD New Delhi, and this gives a lot of meteorological products that I'll be talking about here. So this is the statistics that I don't want to tell because all experts are here. This is one of the latest image I have put here. This is one of the product that I want to explain a little bit here because it is very useful product. It is we call blended image. Here what we have take is that the IR image, the BT, brightness temperature of IR, as well as in background we have put 500 meter data. So this is one type of image. Another case, what we do is that we use daytime visible cloud and visual cloud to convert into BT, IRBT and put it. That I will show in a real-time demo. Okay. So when I'm talking about, in general, I'll be talking about Mosaic website, where it is storage of a lot of products from different satellites. So my last aim will be to give you a demo if time permits. Otherwise, I will just give you briefings of all that. So we have different applications, and these 17 million products are being disseminated to these many countries. And we have major applications for Ocean Eye. Then we have for giving the track to Shipping Corporation of India, Scorpio for cyclone intensity and track. Similarly, heavy rain. And we have Safe Beach application that is basically considering 175 beaches of India where it gives the low, medium, high probability of danger in case of rip current. Similarly, we have solar and wind forecast. And we have another platform that gives data analytics, that is mosaic.gov.live. You see, these are the few samples. We have Ocean Eye, Cyclone, then visualization, Irish current. And this is the full globe product I'm talking about. Every 15 minutes we are acquiring this data. Okay. Now, what I'll be talking about now, mostly people are here, they are interested with cyclone and heavy rain and all that. So I'll just give fastly. Cyclone. So whenever cyclone comes, we have dedicated team, those who use insert data set and give forecast. Track prediction they do real time, and we update these tracks. Irrespective of IMD, we separately do this job on our data sets, both using insert and scatter data. So if you see, this is the current cyclone, and it has provision to show other cyclones that has historically occurred in the last 10 years. That is all that there. Here we give the cyclone track and the BT image and all that we give. This is one of the major thing in case of cyclone. Then if we come to next page, this is the image I was talking about. This is the blended image, which is the most popular image that is available in Mosaic. What we give is that this background image is nothing but either it will be visible image or IR image based on illumination condition. For example, daytime we have visible band where clouds will be more clear, but at night time there is no visible band availability, so IR image only coming. This background will be either IR band background or visible band. But this is nothing but the BT, the range of BT that is useful, that determines or that tells about the temperature, the brightness temperature that has gone below certain level. So here what we have given a different level. So it come to 140 to 240. Here we have kept, that is the range. Whenever BT goes here, sometimes it will look odd that normally red is considered hot. Normally red is considered hot, but here it is negative. We have shown red part is colder. Though it is colder, but that product point of view, this is the hot target. One has to see that part particularly because this is more dangerous part where temperature has gone very low. BT value has gone very low, giving the probability of heavy rain. Similarly, we have heavy rain forecast every 6 hours, 3-day forecast we are generating, and it can be viewed using this link that is given here. And we have 10 years data cube that we have generated using HEM rainfall, hydro estimator rainfall. What we have generated is 4 kilometer resolution. We have generated data cube for 10 years using insert data. Similarly, for using IMD data, we have generated from 1950 to 2022. That is Indian region data set that is available from IMD. The data cube we have generated, particularly if I take about that data cube, that is the personally that I have done that, it is very efficient way of storing data. If somebody is knowing current technology that is in Python, we may be knowing the jar format, X-array and jar. Those who are programming level, those who know, they know what is the jar and what is the X-array. X-array is the format where you can store the value of the variable along with its coordinate. That is how it is stored. So once you store that, that it can be organized in a cube, in format cube. Data cube definition, if you see, it is nothing but time series data having multiple dimensions. Cube has nothing to tell, it represents multiple dimensions. It can be latitude, longitude, any one variable, multiple variable along with time. That is the definition of cube, data cube. So this is available. Then if we go, similarly, this Cloudburst product is also available. This recently, before coming, just I took this particular date, such a date which is near to current scenario. On 22nd July, there was heavy rain in Uttarkashi here. This is what you can select any point, but this is the heavy rain point where I have selected, and this is the distribution of the land area near to that. This is the area. This is all available in directly. You can go in this link and get it. If time permits, we'll go anything if public demands. Similarly, this is what you can do. Okay, then. Yes, this is what notice. Only for two regions, Himachal and Uttarakhand region, this product is available. Okay, if, sorry. Similarly, if you go lightning, anyhow, this is a very controversial thing, lightning. Some product is there, but uncertainty level is there here. And NRC is also giving some lightning data here. It can be, somehow it is compared with the rainfall activities. Okay, if you see this one. Then if you are coming to, okay, heat wave and cold wave, this is another product that we are giving, that is the heavy, in particularly high temperature, during high temperature and cold wave condition, this product can be useful for the people. Then rip current, that I was telling. This is rip current is basically, we have identified few beaches, 175 beaches, and 6-hourly 5-day forecast we are giving. If you consider RK beach, for example, Visakhapatnam, I have chosen here because somehow it is very famous. So it is highly risky beach. That way it is guarded and people are not allowed to go there. So this is how this color tells the risk involved in beach particularly. Whatever beach you choose, that is selectable from here. State and beach name. Okay, if you go to oil spill, anyhow, this, oil spill is a problem when there is oil spill due to this structure that arises, LCS structure that arises in the sea. The flow of oil is being determined by that. So this is one of the products that is available in Voltec that may be useful for the ship, all that. Similarly, if you consider and okay, state portal. Here you can select any state and go this state, for example, Kerala I have selected. There was heavy rain on that day, particular day. I tried to see at two places. That's why I have selected current example. Here you have different parameters, like you have wind speed, and as I told, all forecasts are 6-hour forecast for 72 hours here. This is what, and here what you can do, you can select these plots. There is a, I'll come to that. There is a T5 gram, there is a blended image attached to this. Okay, this is ocean ice that I told that ocean current, sea level pressure, significant wave height, and ocean surface winds are basically given. These parameters are given, and 85 ships of the CI Shipping Corporation of India, they have registered and they are getting this data regularly. Okay, then last one here, I'll show you the city weather. The city weather also, particularly I tried to see Dehradun. On that day particularly, you see, this is the, as I told, the city weather also, temperature, wind, rain, humidity, and surface pressure deviation. This is surface pressure deviation from 1000 HPA. And this is the humidity, cloudiness. And there is another, here there is a marker here. This plot gives the T5 gram. The meteorologists, particularly those who are involved in aviation and Air Force, they are very keen in this product. This gives the atmospheric stability. Basically, it uses temperature, humidity, and potential temperature. All that parameters, it is little complicated for common man to understand, but it is very useful to know atmospheric stability, particularly in aviation sector. This is basically very useful, and it is used other. Okay. Now, this is all I have given at a glimpse what are the products available. If how much time is remaining? You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Okay. So anyone, for example, will go whether for example I will go. We'll go to a link. Where is the cursor? Cursor दिख नहीं रहा. Full mode में करो. Full mode में. Okay. Full mode करो. Okay. This is the real-time app that you can select here the parameters and see, for example, if you go here you can select the state. For example, now we can see, for example, some rain was there, Kerala or something, or some district, you say, Cochin, for example. So it will be the coordinate of particular Cochin, and these are the parameters that it is showing. And if you want to see this plot I was talking about, 65 gram, it is basically this plot I am talking about. It will generate this type of plot, giving the dew point, temperature, humidity, and all that. So your temperature axis is a slanted axis here, and this is what it gives. And if you go to the images, if you want to see the images, it can give the forecast, different parameter forecast, different images here. You can select it here from here. These are the parameters you can select. Relative humidity, wind at different pressure level, rain, wind chill, cloud, and all that. This is what you can do. And if you go to one product I want to show you here. If you want to see this gallery that I was talking about, this is the Mosaic gallery main page where you see past that blended product. Now there are a lot of products that is available here. You can go and see it here. And we are generating also images for Indian states also we are generating images. This is for Andaman or anything, you can choose it. So, for example, you can see like Gujarat or anything. For each state also, you can see the menu. That's all. Thank you. Any question? So all the links are given. You can go and try. That is basically every link takes 15 minutes to explain. So that's why I've summarized it.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. S.K. Sazid. It was really very interesting presentation. And Mosaic being one of the front runner in the, especially for meteorological and oceanography applications, based on satellite-based observations, really it will be useful for the disaster managers basically in the operation board. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we would like to invite Ms. Anita Panday, again from the Space Application Center, Ahmedabad, for her presentation. Madam, you have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Please try to complete within time.
Like your buzzer is there to stop me. Yeah, so good afternoon, everyone. Like friends. Now, till now you have gathered, we have gathered all the data, and we have all the database and how to use that database. But the most important part is how to communicate it. And you have seen that during disaster, the first thing goes down is our communication network, because we are highly dependent on our terrestrial network for the communication and support. But during the disaster, the region which is under distress first get affected by the communication, and there the satellite plays an important role. So here we start with my presentation. So like disaster is a natural and man-made events, and generally like कहते हैं कि disaster warning नहीं देते, suddenly आ जाते हैं. But in my opinion, or in a scientific view, disaster always come with a pre-warnings, right? It's our ability how to read it, and okay. So how to read those warning signs and disperse it to the population so that we will get the least affected by those disasters. And we have seen that our country is very vulnerable to disaster. 12% land is vulnerable. We are vulnerable to the drought also, because lots of floods are there, droughts are there, then landslides are there, then heavy rains are there, cyclones are there. So we are, our country, our topography is such that we are affected by all kind of disaster and all kind of man-made disaster also. We have communal rights, we have regional rights and all that. So with that, even we are vulnerable to chemical and industrial disaster also. So like recently this movie is running on the Bhopal tragedy. That is a good example of our chemical disaster. Even the company was knowing it before that the few systems need very urgent attention, but they were ignorant about it and the disaster has happened. So now if you see our country geography, each and every state has got different kind of disasters. Some are landslides, some are cyclonic, some are earthquake kind of disaster, some are drought kind of distress for the people. So we have different region has got different type of nature of disaster. So now I said we have data, we have to disperse that data, and the region which is affected by the disaster, first thing goes, electricity goes, and all our system is now electronically equipped. There's no power, so every system is down. So in that scenario, only satellite rescue us from that situation, and once the people made communication, they get relieved, even though that communication not directly helping them, but mentally people get relieved. And the real example of that relief is recently this Sinkara tunnel people. When they started communicating with the people outside their tunnel, then they were in a mental peace. And that is why they are able to survive for 15-20 days without much of the health problem. That is because of psychologically they were able to communicate with us, right? So now the relevance of satellite communication during disaster is, whenever there is disaster strike, one of the casualty failure of terrestrial communication link. Second, our resources are under high demand during disaster communication for decision making, for the relief operation, for affected public, and for the relative of affected public. That is more important, because the public is affected, they are still in mental peace, but the relatives, they are more panicked with the disaster. So for them, this kind of communication is very important. And SATCOM is effective due to nationwide coverage, relatively immunity for the disaster, and fast deployment of large mile solutions. So now we have three kind of disaster preparedness. One is pre-disaster preparedness, where we collect all this data we set up our different primary and secondary nodes communication links, and we check every day whether those links are functioning properly or not. Because during disaster, we don't have time to again rebuild those nodes and check those nodes, right? Then support when disaster strikes, and after the disaster, we need a more post-disaster support to rebuild the system. So like the ISRO supports in pre-disaster preparedness in surveillance of weather through automatic weather station deployed throughout the country. So we have 35, like more than 100 AWS system to day-to-day collecting the data like humidity, temperature, rainfall. Then we have also installed the tsunami early warning systems, early warning for the cyclones and floods. Then we have distress alert system for the fishermen. And recently, like 2-3 years back, we have started this RTIS system, Railway Train Information System. Till now, like since 4-5 years back, this RTIS system is fully supported by terrestrial link. But like terrestrial link is reliable for the urban and populated area, but when it goes to a deserted area or unmanned area, there the terrestrial link support is not available, and that's why sometimes when you see online railway information, you get the time lag of sometimes half an hour or 1 hour time lag, because the locomotive is not able to communicate with the terrestrial link. So with this RTIS SATCOM network, the train is continuously communicating, like train driver is continuously communicating through satellite to its base station and giving its information. So nowadays, if you see your RTI system, train system, it's giving every 2 to 5 minutes of date of location of that train. So that is because of the network is now connected through satellite. Now, after ISRO also supports during disaster time through a satellite phone. So satellite phone is, you need an open sky to communicate with a satellite phone, and it's a two-way communication system. It's a handheld around 2 to 3 kg, and Android-based system. Then you have a portable multimedia system. Through this system, you can do a two-way video conferencing or broadcasting. Then reporting terminal for first responder, this is a messaging system. So you can just one-way message ki I am in distress, and we have configured this reporting terminal with our Navig system, so it can send its geolocation also. So the other hand, how people know ki which the signal is coming from the which place and what kind of distress alert is there. So it's a one-way transmit only system. And these are satellite broadcast receiver. These are the one-way receive system which receives only the information. So these are also installed in disaster-prone area. They are continuously, if some distress signal, if we have to message the alert the villagers or people around there, so they warn the early warning systems for the emergency. And post-disaster management virtual, like after disaster, through satellite, we can establish a virtual private network for the video conferencing, video and data communication to help coordinating the between agency to recover from the disaster. So this is a typical network we have, like ISRO has established. It is on GSAT-12 satellite, where there is one primary node, hub station is there. It works on the star topology. There are 8 primary nodes, and they like with a different bandwidth. Okay, so this network support, this has got a user node working at 833 kbps, and these users nodes are mostly deployed in a disaster-prone state. So they are in this 18 to 20 state, especially they are more located in this northeast region and northern part of the India. And then there are 8 primary nodes where they are working at 3.3 Mbps data rate, and these are the primary nodes. They resource the data. So they are in the NDMA and NCOIS. And then these user nodes and primary nodes, they are every day, we are checking these nodes, their functionality and they are working or not. And even we check whether their UPS system is in the correct position, like they are charged and all. That reporting we do every day. And these nodes, then one can establish a small 1.2 meter VSEP terminal in the disaster prone road, and they can then communicate with these primary node through hub. So like this is a hub outbound, like the hub is working at 11 megahertz bandwidth, and the primary node and secondary node has got, like 8 primary node has got dynamic bandwidth allotment. If some primary node user needs more bandwidth, then we give them that 3.2 megahertz, otherwise they are working at 0.8 megahertz bandwidth. Since this network we have established in 2008, that time the satellite technology and the DVBS RCS system was S-type, so the data rates were low and the system was established in 2008. But now we are planning to upgrade this system with DVBS S2X technology, where these even our 36 megahertz transponder, now it will transfer into the high throughput satellite, in which the 150 megahertz bandwidth will be available. And then obviously with all these multiple user node and primary nodes will increase, and the bandwidth will increase, because now everything is data hungry, like satellite channels are now data hungry. So this I'll just say. These are this is typical hub station for this DMS VPN configuration error, where we have 4.5 meter antenna. This hub station is located in Delhi, right? And with LNBC, BCA, and one can do like telephony or video conferencing, or one can even establish. This is a hub station. This is a typical primary node station, and here we are developing some new application where here we can set up a small Wi-Fi area also around 1 to 2 kilometers. So even on the mobile, if can work within this network around 1 to 2 kilometer area. So like when the disaster was happened in Uttarakhand, Kedarnath, our team flown from here to Kedarnath, and then they have established 1.2 meter VSAT terminal, and we were able to give the satellite communication network. We have established the communication network over there to help rescuing people. So this our team went there. This is the Badrinath team, and the typical that small antenna, 1.2 meter antenna, and the indoor unit was just one modem. You need a battery if power is not there, and just one monitor, and that's it. So it's a suitcase kind of network. Although this antenna size is big, like 1.2 meter, but since this network is through GSAT-6 satellite, which is a very high power satellite. So with a small antenna, we can, even with the 0.6 meter antenna, we can actually receive a very good quality of signal. Two-way communication is difficult, but one-way receive can, like easily we can do it. And this is during Jammu and Kashmir, that flood situation. There also we have established the similar kind of network, this 1.2 meter network. So this network, like VSAT terminal, deployment of VSAT terminal at very remote region is very easy, and with the battery we can do a small, like short duration communication, and with this modem, small modem is there, and that modem we can configure for the work. That modem can work as a hotspot. So even we can establish a Wi-Fi mobile network also through this system. So that we are working on it. So these are the typical satellite phone. This is the, yeah, just 2 minutes. Sir. These are the typical satellite phone. This is early generation, which was 3 to 4 kg because the battery size was big. Now I think I have set sleeve also. This is that now Android based system. This is hardly 400-500 gram satellite phone. Only thing for the satellite phone you need an open sky. You cannot sit inside the room and walled area and communicate it. But this phone is like it's becoming very popular from our thing. So it has got Android system, and that is a smart thing which in this our system is working where all the this is that SMR broadcast receiver. So this kind of again very small terminal. It's a iPad, iPhone kind of terminal where you can receive the signals. And this is that portable multimedia terminal. That this is also almost a back size where you can do the two-way conferencing. So transmit and receive in both systems. So all these are field deployable things. Only thing they need a battery. So for that provision one has to need for that. These are now, okay sir, again I can skip from this point. Now one more system I just wanted to show you. Recently we are also installing some device on the floor of seabed, and they detect the early tsunami because whenever the tsunami happens on the bottom of the sea surface, it takes some time to propagate to the surface and to affect the coastal region. So we are in the pilot program phase. We are installing this kind of systems on the seabed and seeing if we can communicate this time of signal through satellite to the authorities, so that before the tsunami hits to the people, at least the people get some kind of alert. That's it, sir.
Thank you, madam. So it was really very important presentation as per the satellite communication is concerned, and this communication plays a very important role during the disaster, especially the remote areas like hilly terrain Himalayas, and I hope it will be really useful for the disaster managers here in Uttarakhand and also in the hilly state in Himalayas. So now for the next presentation, I would like to invite Dr. Arijit Roy for his presentation on the advanced research and capacity building activities on the space-based disaster management support. Over to Dr. Arijit.
Thank you, Dr. Harish. Good afternoon. It is really tough to be the last speaker, but I'll try to do a decent job. So today I'll be talking about after hearing all the things, what next? What is the future? So if we talk about ISRO's contribution to the Sendai framework and DRR, we have played a major role in the international associations through Disaster Charter, UN Spider or Sentinel Asia, and also through various space-based technology like communication, satellite data products, capacity building, and of course, advanced research. So if we, just to summarize what we have heard till now, so if we have the EO-based disaster management support, we have been doing monitoring for various disasters like floods, cyclones, forest fires, landslides, to name some of the major disasters. And my voice is good enough, I think. And if we talk about the forewarning, we have the early warning system for floods, landslides, forest fire risk indexes. Anyway, we have the tsunami early warning systems, to name a few. There are a number of geoportals which we have already discussed, like NDEM, MOSDAC, and of course Northeast Regional Node for Disaster Risk Reduction, that is NEDRR. And we have been doing a lot of advanced research in various aspects. Some of the areas which I have tried to highlight, like long-term studies on forest fires in Hindu Kush Himalaya, which is transboundary, advanced INSAR-based techniques for land deformation studies, basically using persistent scatter interferometric SAR, or SBAS techniques, which has been applied in the Joshimath areas, and the spatial modeling of heat wave hazards, which we expect in the recent future. So what are the gaps in the research, especially for DRR? So the gaps are the early warning systems and early detection of disaster, which will play a very important role in saving life and achieving the targets of the Sendai framework, and also to some extent the sustainable development goals. Then we have the other aspects of disaster, the domino effect. That is the interaction of various factors or various disasters in toto. Then how the development plays a role in the propagation of disasters. Comprehensive risk assessments of the developments, and how the technology can be integrated into the various aspects of space-based disaster management support, like satellite-enabled IoTs, and how the critical data and communication capability can be established during crisis. So to summarize, what are the future requirements of space-based disaster management, especially for the technological domain? If we talk about the geological disasters, there are areas like multi-parametric analysis for earthquake precursor studies, early warning systems for landslides by integrating the near real-time ground-based as well as space-based data sets, space-based geodetic studies, urban seismic risk analysis based on simulation of wave propagation, just for our initial areas. Then for the hydrometeorological disasters, areas like hydrological and hydrodynamic modeling, flood early warning system, which we have already to some extent done, urban flood inundation and hazard assessment using 3D CT modeling, space-based analysis for the various gulfs or other lakes, and also monitoring the strategic importance for valuable location across the borders. When we talk about the environmental disasters, it can be the various fuel-based indices and the risks for forest fires, even the spread modeling. And of course, the real-time forecast for atmospheric hazards, especially in regions like Delhi during this period time of the year. And how we can integrate the technology into the various aspects of the disaster management, like deep learning, automatic data detection, near real-time automatic monitoring of various disasters, and also integrating all these through the Internet of Things for space-based disaster management. Keeping this in mind, ISRO has actually is carrying out a project in which we are integrating the premier institutions across the country to develop various advanced research areas for application of space technology in disaster management, which actually involves preparation of or development of new methodologies or algorithms for hazard detection, application of AI, ML in disaster management, developing innovative early warning systems, and multi-hazards and vulnerability assessment. Presently in this, we have been partnering IIT Roorkee, IIT Bombay, Patna, Ropar, and Mandi, GB Pant University of Agriculture and Technology, NIT Karnataka, Central University of Jharkhand, various ISRO centers, CBRI, and IISER Mohali. So the areas where we are working on are avalanche hazard and early warning, early warning systems for landslides, AI-based lightning and hailstorm alerts, SAR-based algorithm for partially inundated vegetation, landslide characterization and debris flow modeling, permafrost destabilization, including mass wasting, extreme rainfall or modeling, which includes, of course, the cloudbursts, artificial intelligence or machine learning based modeling for crop diseases, and multi-hazard analysis. Apart from the advanced research, we are also involved in developing the capacity across the country for use of space technology in disaster management, which basically is catering, also partnering with the premier institution for disseminating the space-based technology for disaster management to the stakeholders. So in this, we have the various institutes like IIT Roorkee, Punjab Remote Sensing Center, Symbiosis Institute, International Institute in Pune. Then we have SISC in Chennai, Pillai in Mumbai. There are a number of them, and this is still going on. The recent call for proposal has been put out for the new institutions. And the theme of training are basically an environmental hazard, hydrometeorological disasters, air pollution, flood hazard, landslide hazards, hydroclimatological extremes, and INSAR-based technology for disaster preparedness, etc., etc. So, where does this fit in? Because advanced research and capacity building are quite interlinked. So when we talk about advanced research, especially in early warning systems or understanding the disasters, through various courses like MTech or PhD, it involves academic interface and collaborative projects. And the capacity building is an offshoot of the advanced research, wherein the scientists, professionals, decision makers, and the implementation agencies along with the stakeholders play a role in providing the feedback into what are the gap areas in these areas, which actually helps us in developing demonstrative products and services for informed and effective decision making for disaster management support. Just for example, some of the student research highlights which has been carried out at IIRS in forest fire, heat wave, climate change and long-term ecological changes, multi-hazard vulnerability, riparian ecosystem vulnerability. They are all developed by students through the various PhDs and other things. And Indian Institute of Remote Sensing is playing a major part in transfer of technology through capacity building and research in remote sensing and GIS technologies, wherein it is catering to the national needs through various postgraduate courses, certificate courses, and other international programs, and also the international needs by hosting the Center for Space Science and Technology Education in Asia Pacific, which is a regional center of UNUSA, and conducting various programs through the CSSTEAP umbrella. Apart from that, ISRO is also supporting the various activities of United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs in various technical advisory missions or the various tutorials in space-based disaster management support and climate change impacts. Thank you very much. I hope I am in time, and if you have any questions, we are here to answer you.
Thank you, Dr. Arijit, for completing your presentation on time. With this, I think we have completed all the presentation from the panelists. So now, before taking the questions from the audience, so quickly I would like to brief the sessions, what we discussed during this particular session. Yeah. So thank you. So now I would also like to thanks Professor Durgespan sir for joining the session. So sir, we have completed this particular session. So quickly, I will brief what we discussed during this session. The first presentation was by Dr. John Mathew from ISRO headquarters. So he discussed about the ISRO DMSP program, basically ISRO Disaster Management Support Program. He very nicely briefed about the different activities, right from the pre-disasters, during disasters, and post-disaster support by ISRO, either through the Earth observation satellite, satellite communication, or navigation satellite. He also discussed a little bit about the future missions, like NISR missions, what ISRO is planning, which is going to play a very, very important role as per the disasters are concerned. Then we had the next presentation by our speaker, again from the National Remote Sensing Center, Srimati P. Srilakshmi. She has highlighted a very important product from ISRO called National Database for Emergency Management. In this website, ISRO has integrated not only the data from the space-based sensors, but also data from the different stakeholder departments, and this data is readily available for the users and also the decision makers and planners. They have a very ambitious program to integrate this NDM platform with the basically response system, control system of the NDMA, was what they are setting up in the Delhi. And she also informed that the historical data, which plays a very, very important role in the disaster management, right from the 1988 onward, the data is now available in the NDM archive. This is really very important information for the disaster management. So next presentation was from our colleague from Space Application Center, Mr. S.K. Sazid. He talked about the different meteorological and oceanographical data product from our MOSDEC portal, which is available for the user since long time. This is one of the most popular website where we are providing the 8 Indian satellites products. Around more than 200 products are available for 25 applications. So daily basis, they are providing the experimental products on the rainfall and also the climatic aspect. And this data is available in the website. For cyclone, they have developed a system called Scorpio. This is a very interesting early warning system, which is maintained by IMD, and the inputs are provided by ISRO. And then he also highlighted some of the future things, what we are trying to develop here, like a lightning-based alert systems, cloud-based product, what for Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, looks a very interesting product actually. Although the cloud-based being considered as one of the complex exercise as per the scientific studies are concerned, but still the products as experimental product from Space Application Centers are available there. And our colleague from Space Application Center, Ahmedabad, Ms. Anita Panday, she has basically discussed about the role of the satellite communication. It's a very, very important topic, especially for disaster risk reductions. And she provide the pre-disasters, post-disaster, and during disaster, what kind of support are available from ISRO. So there she also explained about some of the terminal systems, like operational system, like with Indian Railway, what ISRO has just completed it. All these products were discussed in detail during her presentation. Then we have next presentation by our colleague from IRIS, Dr. Arijit Roy. He has highlighted the advanced research topics, what ISRO has taken up for the future requirement, not only for Earth observation, but also for the other areas like communication and navigation. He has very nicely highlighted that how we are trying to integrate different institutions together under this umbrella of ISRO DMSP. So all the institutions like IITs and other research institutions, academic institutions, they are coming forward, and they are basically contributing for the advanced research on the disaster management aspect. And the research outcome will be really useful for the future disaster management activity in the country. So he has also highlighted some of the interesting gap areas where we need to focus more. Of course, right now the main focus is on the information extraction or sharing the information, but another important aspect is the early warning system, which is really the need of the hour, where the more attention is given by ISRO for our research activities. So these are the summary, and the capacity building, of course, is a very, very important aspect. Ultimately, whatever we are studying or developing the systems, we need to transfer this technology to the user segment. So Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, this Dehradun, is providing a different capacity building program, right from the education to training, and also for the national and international users, we are trying to connect through our CSS, TP, and other international forum. So these are the activities that are going on, and we invite all the users, those are really interested to learn these technologies, try to, or need to implement this technology in the operational mode, come forward to join our training program so that they can get the good knowledge on this aspect. With that, this summary, now we invite the questions from the audience, and our panelists are available here and they can respond to your query. Thank you very much. Sir, over to you.
Okay, any questions? So you have understood the spectrum of today's discussion, the panel discussion. All the panelists have taken care of the Earth observation, communication, different tools, their analytics, and dissemination of the knowledge, capacity building, skill development. Finally, how to manage this before the disaster, during the disaster, and after the disaster. So this is the, so your questions, so that panelists and we can discuss on that. Yeah. Speaker. Yeah. Dr. John Mathew.
Can you please repeat the question, sir? Yeah, that was actually the susceptibility mapping done along the route corridors at 25,000 scale. So that information is not updated. However, Geological Survey of India has carried out national level landslide susceptibility mapping, and it is all completed, and that database is available under the Bhukosh portal of GSI. No, that landslide atlas is the inventory of landslides comprising of the database from 1988 to 2022. That is the inventory, atlas of inventory, whereas what we had done in that earlier time was the susceptibility mapping. That was susceptibility along the route.
Okay, just to add, Dr. John Mathew,
Yeah.
He is the man, but even then, some information I can share with you. That pilgrimage routes, it is a long backstory, 20 years backstory. After that, we have worked on the northeastern region also.
Correct,
So that
correct,
is our Northeastern Space Application Center is taking care of these areas. And along with that, now Geological Survey of India is the nodal agency, along with ISRO. They are working on the landslide inventory generation for the entire country. That is one. And another thing, there is a new, this year mission has been started, new project you can say, that is the SILAS under NRSC. That is whatever this movement, slow movements you can detect any of the areas, that they will give you some kind of warning. This is at the initial stage. But that has a very great future, that all the organizations like IIRS, like NRSC, and all the state remote sensing centers and all over the countries, different organizations who have these capabilities. But this is very much, capability is very much there all over the country. So they will take care of the entire country, the early warning based on these movements, as well as rainfall threshold.
Yes.
So integration of two things, one is the movement, another is the rainfall threshold.
Probably Uttarakhand State Remote Sensing Center will be a partner institute for the SILAS project. So this it is more than the scale. It is the digital database. One is the inventory. Second is the early warning. Yeah. Yes.
50,000 scale. Originally it was 1:50,000.
Generally, this philosophy is only for the these vulnerable areas. There the studies will be taken care for the movements. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think I take this opportunity because the all ISRO organization is here in this, and I always ask this question to the every forum. First is the weather warnings related, any lower orbit satellite mission is planned under ISRO or not? This is my first question. Second is, because in Himalayas, the granularity of these kind of the weather prediction is very important, because the pinpointing of such locations are the most important part. We cannot say that the such and such area will be flooded and such area will be receive such kind of the rainfall. So we need some granular kind of this forecasting. So is ISRO is planning any such kind of the mission or not? Because now the world is moving on the satellite-based weather monitoring very soon. After 1 or 2 years, many satellites are now you can find in the private industry also they are planning to go. So if ISRO is planning anything because its government agency is involved in this, then I think it is certainly very helpful to the Himalayan state like Uttarakhand. This is my question, sir.
So I think Sazid Mahammad ji, do you have any kind of this thing? Yeah.
What they are talking about, actually, so far as the forecast, particularly cloudburst is there and all that, we have experimentally we have started for Uttarakhand and Himalayan region. But what you are talking about, radar-based system that you are talking about, probably you are talking about, that radar network also, it is getting expanded with IMD and all that.
No, I mean, my question is regarding the lower orbit satellites. Basically, now many private agencies and the Europe and America are planning to the satellite-based weather prediction. And very soon, as per my information, 2025 or 26, we receive such kind of the weather forecast on mobile. So if the ISRO is also ready to such condition, so I think more rely on the ISRO.
High resolution INSAT we are also planning.
Okay, so
Thank you, sir, for your interesting questions, and I thank the chairs and co-chairs for finishing the session in time and also taking time for this particular interaction. I hope this interaction will continue after this session. We have DG UCOST, Dr. Durgesh Pant with us, and he was there for the last session. I think I'll request our DG to facilitate our panelists who have come from different parts of the ISRO centers. I'll request first our first speaker of the session, Associate Director Dr. John Mathew from ISRO headquarters, Bangalore. Sir, please be Dr. John Mathew. This is a special memento made. It is not general memento. It has some message from the state of Himalaya and has environment in backdrop, environmental concern, and also ladies in the focus. Next, we call our speakers, Madam Lakshmi from NRSC Hyderabad. Quickly, third, we have Sri Sazid Mahammad from Space Application Center, Ahmedabad. I request Madam Anita. Anita from Space Application Center, Ahmedabad. Dr. Arijit Roy from Indian Institute of Remote Sensing. Our chairs, co-chairs and reporters have played a very important session. I'll request DG to facilitate our chair, Dr. R.S. Chatterjee. Dr. Harish Karnatak, co-chair. And last but not the least, rapporteur of the session, myself. Thank DG for his courtesy that he has come to our session, and all the audience who has been there with us. I think the hall is entirely full, 90% full. It is very rare to see after the lunch. So we thank all the audience for their patience hearing. Thank you. We'll meet sometime again.
माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को जाता है। इसी प्रयास को आगे बढ़ाते हुए उनके द्वारा दिखाए गए मार्ग का अनुसरण करते हुए उत्तराखंड राज्य 28 नवंबर से 1 दिसंबर 2023 तक 6th वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस ऑन डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट का आयोजन कर रहा है। आपदा एक वैश्विक चुनौती है, इसलिए इसके प्रबंधन के लिए भी पूरे विश्व को एक मंच पर एक साथ आना होगा, नए तरीकों पर बात करनी होगी, अपने अनुभव साझे करने होंगे और ये सब करने के लिए हिमालय की गोद से अच्छी जगह और क्या होगी, क्योंकि सदियों से खड़े ये अडिग हिमालय ही तो हैं जो विश्व को धर्म का ज्ञान, अध्यात्म और योग का पाठ पढ़ाते हैं। तो आइए और 6th वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस ऑन डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में सम्मिलित हों और आपदा प्रबंधन में भागीदार बने। धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
वसुधैव कुटुंबकम हजारों वर्षों से भारतीय मनीषा का मूल मंत्र रहा है। एक मंत्र जो पूरे विश्व के लोगों को एक परिवार बनाता। इस समय हमारा विश्व परिवार क्लाइमेट चेंज और ग्लोबल वार्मिंग से होने वाली समस्याओं और आपदाओं से घिरा हुआ है। इस विषय पर चिंतन करने और समाधान ढूंढने के लिए महान हिमालय की धरती उत्तराखंड के देहरादून में इस वर्ष 28 नवंबर से 1 दिसंबर तक 6th वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस ऑफ डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट का आयोजन किया जा रहा है। गौरवशाली राष्ट्र के निर्माण और विश्व कल्याण के लिए प्रतिबद्ध माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को धन्यवाद और उत्तराखंड के युवा दूरदर्शी मुख्यमंत्री श्री पुष्कर सिंह धामी को शुभकामनाएं। साथ सोचेंगे, साथ लड़ेंगे और साथ जीतेंगे। धन्यवाद। गौरवशाली राष्ट्र के निर्माण व विश्व कल्याण के लिए प्रतिबद्ध माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी को धन्यवाद और उत्तराखंड के युवा दूरदर्शी मुख्यमंत्री श्री पुष्कर सिंह धामी को शुभकामनाएं।
आइए और 6th वर्ल्ड कांग्रेस ऑन डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट में सम्मिलित हों और आपदा प्रबंधन में भागीदार बने।
साथ सोचेंगे, साथ लड़ेंगे और साथ जीतेंगे।
As a consultant with the World Bank and supporting resilience building, recovery and resilience building in many different states of the country, and is known to many people who are around. So thanks Deepak for accepting our invitation. And to add to that, he is also member of Red R India, the organization that we belong to, and the one who is organizing this technical session. To my left is Dr. Piyush Rautela, again a known face, known name over here. He is Executive Director. He has taken efforts in ensuring that the Uttarakhand SDMA is there at the forefront of all aspects related to all the, well, hazardous events that are happening, but not only that. I mean, the book that he has written, I mean, I tried to weigh it. It weighs much more than what it contains. An epitome of energy as it is. Thank you, Piyush sir, for accepting our invitation. To my right side, architect Sujata Kodak. She is an architect by education, by profession, and by interest she works in the field of disaster management, particularly focusing on issues related to the most vulnerable section of the society, and that is women and the life skill development for women. She is founder of a civil society organization called Ecologic Foundation and also a member of Radar. To my far right is Akhilesh Bakshi from yet another hill state, that is Himachal Pradesh. He has been, well, he worked with Radar, he's a Radar member. He's a communication expert, he's a political science expert. He knows, I mean, the combination is such that it gives him a deeper insight of the ways in which the hazardous events need to be tackled so that they don't turn into the disasters. Thank you, Akhilesh. He'll be talking about Radar's approach as well. All said, my name is Prasad Sevekari, and I am a civil engineer by education and WASH professional, or WASH quote-unquote expert by profession. Currently working as holding a position of secretary of the organization, Radar India. Radar India is an organization which is involved in building capacities of humanitarian stakeholders, particularly humanitarian professionals who are engaged in responding to different types of disasters. The whole idea of this small gathering, having this small gathering, was that to understand the views of the panelists as well as the audience on the challenges that are being faced for building resilience capacities of different stakeholders, particularly coming from the hill states. In the meanwhile, Akhilesh, may I request you to pull up the standee? Thank you. So, if I look at the scope or the magnitude of the issue that we are talking about, it is like more than 5 lakh square kilometers of area which is divided between 8 different states. And I mean, if you consider okay, a technical glitch. So I'll just take that time to tell you about the organization that this is. It's Radar India, which is a roster-based organization. We work with the members who come from different professions, different educational background, different skill sets, and we are into provisioning of such a human resource to the agencies which are engaged in humanitarian response in India, South Asia, and globally. Such professionals who are willing and competent. So their willingness is tested, their competence is tested, and then they are deployed with the different agencies. All those professionals that are deployed, they are trained in certain aspects of disaster response, disaster recovery, disaster resilience, and disaster preparedness, all through the cycle. And capacity building, that's how, becomes a forte for Radar India. So we say that we facilitate humanitarianism through building capacities of professionals and then deploying them for different emergency processes within India and outside. As a result of the learnings that we have gained from these different deployments and different associations that we have had with different organizations over the last few years, last decade and more, we thought that it'll be good to discuss with you about the approaches or the challenges and approaches of capacity building, and particularly so in the hill states, since we have gathered in a state which has hill connotation to it. So as I was telling you, more than 5 lakh square kilometers of area, 8 different states, a little bit of Western Ghat, which covers entire area from Maharashtra to Kerala, a little bit of Eastern Ghat in the state of Orissa, and a population which is nearly 7% of the total population of India. So if you look at the area, it is more than 5 lakh square kilometers. If you look at the population, it is about 7% of the total population of India. These are the people who come from the hill states, which, as we are sitting over now, sit on the ring of fire, where we never know as to when the earthquake is going to strike, where we never know as to, I mean, of course, it's a seasonal thing, but cloud bursts are going to happen, and where we never knew when a tunnel is going to collapse either. Thanks to all those who helped in rescuing the 41 laborers that were trapped in the tunnel. All that happened last night, and it was a moment of relief and moment of joy put together. But the very fact that why such things happen is something we need to also discuss. Is development going hand in hand with the disasters? What is it that the stakeholders need to think about when they come across such incidents that keep on happening? We need development and we need to avoid disasters. And as we keep on saying, disasters, they tend to take, they tend to set the development back by more than 2 decades. So what is it that needs to be done to enable the stakeholders, build the capacities, to reduce the vulnerabilities so that the risk of the disaster be further reduced? This is what we need to discuss today. And the stakeholders, there are a number of. I'll stop over here because this has been a longer introduction. I would request our speaker from the, when you look at the stakeholders, it is government, it is CSOs, it is non-government organization, it is the donor agencies, it is the communities as well. So I would request our speaker from Himachal Pradesh SDMA, Mr. Balwant Chand, to share his thoughts on the challenges that they have faced and the approaches that the Himachal Pradesh government has taken to address those challenges, particularly regarding building resilience capacities within the state. Sir, I would request you to speak maybe 15-20 minutes, and then at the end of the session, we'll have a we'll have a plenary question-answer session. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. I am Balwant Chand. I am Joint Secretary Revenue, cum Disaster Management, Government of Himachal Pradesh. Himachal Pradesh basically is a hilly state, and during 2023, disaster, we experienced a high damage disaster. And during this disaster, the particular disasters were the landslides, flash floods, and heavy floods in the rivers. We faced a lot of challenges during to recoup this from this problem, and as a mayor, to cope up these problems, a number of steps that the governments of Himachal Pradesh, SDMA took. We will discuss all with you during this discussion. Please, next. This is the physiographic overview of the state of Himachal Pradesh. There are three colors basically. This is the maroon color is the lower part of the state, and the white color and the blue color is our hilly terrains. We face both two types of hazards. Basically, one is the heavy rainfall that occurs in the upper part, that is the white part. We've experienced the snowfall on these areas, even in July and August. During this disaster, we faced a lot of snowfall that occurred in district Lahaul Spiti and district Kinnaur. And in the lower parts of the state, we experienced a lot of these landslides, flash floods and all. Next. This is the hazard profile of the state of Himachal Pradesh. And hazard profile, all these 32, 33 hazards, we experience about 26 in the state of Himachal Pradesh. This is the first rainfall spell which we experienced, and what was the actual rainfall that took place during this week, and what was the normal, which was the average for last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. That was the normal, and this was the depreciation. The departure of that spell was the difference, 153 millimeter. Basically, we experienced in 1 week 150 mm of the rainfall, whereas the normal range of during this period of previous year was 59 mm only. And these are the districts where a lot of precipitation took place, and a number of landslides, number of cloud bursts, number of huge floods in the rivers we experienced, which devastated the state infrastructure very badly. This is the rainfall status of 1 day is 167. The total in district 1 Bilaspur district, whereas the normal rainfall on 9th July was 8.7 mm. See the difference. The percentage was 1,824% in the precipitation. This was the case we faced this year, and it is all in all the states, all the districts in the state. Second, same spell we experienced from August 11 to 14, 2023, and you can analyze all the normal as well as the actual rainfall in the state. We experienced these two heavy rainfall spells, and consequently the disaster, the human life, human loss, cattle loss, infrastructure, roads, electricity, water supply scheme, they all were damaged. This was basically this disaster was experienced for the first time in the state. As you have heard about Uttarakhand Joshimath case in previous years, this was the land subsidence cases. These cases were experienced in district Sirmaur, Hamirpur, Mandi and Kullu, even in Solan area. A number of the participants might have seen Shimla district and Shimla town, we experienced a lot of disaster during this monsoon seasons, and particularly was the landslides. This was another picture of a flash flood. Basically, it was the cloud burst. We say it a cloud burst, and you know what is cloud burst. This is the situation of Shimla. It is the Shimla town. Basically, you might have seen this in the videos, small clips in the social media. And particularly this area I am saying, it was the Shimla incident which buried 20 people. It was basically landslide. It occurred near to the Advanced Study Institute. And particularly for this search operation, our team of NDRF and SDRFs, they took about 22 days for recovery of the dead bodies. 22 continuous days. This was another situation that we faced. It was a landslide and 5-6 buildings that collapsed during the landslides. Same, it is the Shimla town. It is district Hamirpur, district Kinnaur, district Solan. Solan, there is one village, Shamli village. That total village is subsidizing. Rescue operations, these SDR and NDR people, they were rescuing. And you can see, this person is our Honorable Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh, Sukhinder Sukhu. He is taking care of all the search and rescue operations, recovery and all. He went up to most all of the sites and took cognizance of the rescue operations being carried out by the district administration and the NDRF and SDR people. She is our Deputy Commissioner Kinnaur. These were the trackers, basically were stranded in hike trackers. They were being rescued during these operations. The situation was so bad that even our Air Force people, they refused to go there and to fly over these areas. And people were stranded in those areas, even though our NDR people, our state police, SDR people, they went to the spots and they rescued the people. These are the NDR people. I think these people are sitting. They were the part of this NDRF team of Himachal Pradesh. This is the operations being carried out. Rescue operation. You can see this two persons. He is our Minister Revenue, Government of Himachal Pradesh, Jagat Singh Negi ji. He himself walked about 40 kilometers on foot, along with one Chief Parliamentary Secretary, our district administration team. There was you can see the snowfall, and this snowfall occurred during the month of July. Otherwise, we learned that the snowfall always falls in December and January and all in hilly states, but it was experienced in July and August. Relief distributions to the people. And one more thing, that during the first spell in the state in July 2023, about 70,000 vehicles were stranded in district Kullu alone. All the roads were broken. And after the recovery and restoration of the alternate routes and roads, all these 60 to 70,000 vehicles were taken away from the district within 6 to 7 days. This was another disaster we faced this year after about 35 years. It was the release of huge water from the Pong Dam. There is a water reservoir called the Pong Dam, and a lot of water was released. You can see these are the army helicopters were used to rescue the people. They were rescued. All the rescue operations are being carried out. Major rescue operations being carried out, been taken in district Hamirpur for evacuations. The role of space technology, we see all the disasters which happened from the space technology also. Seasonal landslide, basically this is the map. This shows the blue part of the state that shows the areas most vulnerable to the landslides. Spatial distribution, these were the imageries taken from the Google map before and after the river flood. Basically this whole disaster came in the Byas river basin, right from Kullu to district Kangra. These are the imageries before and after of the disaster. This was basically the damage and losses. We lost about 511 people during this disaster, 531 people, 511. This was the total damage and losses till date. Now we come to the point that the challenges we faced during this disaster and what are the gaps faced by the SDM or the government of Himachal Pradesh. Number one was the unexpected rainfall and a number of flash floods, landslides and land subsidences all of a sudden with rapid movement. There is no technology of early warning system. They may give a early warning system regarding the heavy rainfall spells. Even that they can give the locations, particular locations where the heavy rainfall can take place. But no such information can be given that a particular place will face this cloud burst or landslide. About the river floods, that can be taken care, but about the landslide and the flash floods, it is the main cause that we are unaware of it. Everyone is unaware of. He is sleeping in his house in the night, a heavy rainfall occurs and a flash flood or the cloud burst that comes down. Unplanned release of water from the dam reservoirs caused heavy floods downstream. It was one of the major challenge. Basically, what happened, these dam controlling authorities, they accumulated the whole water till the danger level, and after the 2 or 3 days when there is a lot of rainfall in the upper areas of the state, a huge water, flash floods that accumulated the water immediately, and they, without giving the proper information to the people downstream, they released the water. This situation was experienced this time also by the state. Lack of a comprehensive early warning system, as I discussed, during the flash flood, cloud burst and landslides. Communication network breakdown. Basically what happens are all the transmission lines of the electricity, they were broken down. Total communication system network, after 1 or 2 days that totally off. And there was a lot of problem to have a communication with the people and the administration. Next was the inadequate advanced search equipments and technology. Basically what happens, you have the radars or some sensor type of equipments with the NDRF people, and even we saw the exhibition of the Indian Army here. There were no such instruments or technologies that can detect a dead body. They can detect a live people, his heart beating is there, then sensors can say a person is alive inside the debris. But a person is died, he cannot be detected. If he has some metal with him, the detector will detect the metal. The metal is out of his body, the detector will detect only the metal, not the dead body. This was the cause where these NDR people and SDR people took 21 days, 22 days rescue operations, search operations for recovering 20 dead bodies. They recovered all the casualties, and I think this was the information with these people that last 2 bodies were recovered from a very long distance of 2 kilometers. These were the basic gaps and the challenges we faced during this. Transport communication, that was I said earlier, all the roads, our bridges, maximum bridges, connecting even to the national highways constructed by NHAI. all were washed. Basically, the Byas River that changed its course. It devastated the whole national highways. The district Kullu was totally disconnected, right from this communication system, from this infrastructure communication system, transport system. And that was a lot of problem faced by the state. Next was the unplanned and unsafe constructions, both the government and private buildings. Unplanned, basically the Shimla hazards, Shimla disaster we faced was due to the unplanned constructions of the buildings. Buildings were constructed at a slope of 80 degree also, up to the 80 degree. You can see it at Shimla if you go and visit some places there. Even the government buildings, they are constructed near to the river basins, near to the small rivulets or the channels, and which were destroyed during these heavy floods, during these landslides and the cloud bursts. Limited community engagements and preparedness or the awareness. The people were not known about what to do when this immediately landslide comes, then your flash flood comes, where to do, what to do. Because the advisory are given to the people to remain in the houses during these disasters, during the heavy rainfalls, what they will do. These were the challenges that we faced during this disaster. These are some strategies which the SDMA and the government of Himachal Pradesh took after taking into consideration the disaster in the state of this year. Strengthening of the early warning system by installation of automatic weather stations and automatic rain gauges on the different sides of the states. But I think this cannot help actually the evacuation or the preparedness. It can give only the information that the precipitation can occur on such and such dates, heavy precipitation, that red alerts can be issued and all, but cannot be examined the particular place where any cloud burst will occur, where the landslide will occur. We are lacking of all these things. These are the things to be taken into care by our institutions, IIT, Roorkees and all. Next was the setting up of the alternate communication system, amateur ham radios and community radios, policy that has been implemented by the state on 14th of October 2023. That we have done it. We are providing about to 60,000 rupees to the person who will come to launch this radio ham radios, amateur ham radio system. It will be in the shape of a subsidy. Community education to participate during the disaster at panchayat level. We are conducted now the sessions with the panchayat people, even up to the wards. More than 15,000 disaster volunteers have been trained till date. They have been trained already. And our target is to train about such 50,000 volunteers up to the next monsoon season. Land use and infrastructure plannings. There is a ban basically on the construction near to the river beds. It is banned in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Repair and retrofitting to the government buildings in the first spell that we have taken, we are getting the surveys from different agencies. Constituted various technical committees to analyze the disasters, because this huge disaster of different kinds that is experienced in the state, and a number of committees have been constituted about to study the causes of heavy flash floods, land subsidences, landslides in the state. IIT Roorkee, IIT Mandi, GSI, NIT, Wadi Institute, CBRI, CU and HP universities also have been contacted for it. Strengthening of SDRF by providing new technological search and rescue instruments, etc., and other response centers in the state of Himachal Pradesh. And one dam safety application. What is the level of the water in the dam? That will be reflected, and accordingly the information can be spread, communicated to the people downstream and these dam reservoir locations. We have done this, we have started this, the school safety apps to train the students and the teachers in the schools. And that we will show you in the next slide, that about 500 schools have prepared their school disaster management plan. Mining activities during this rainy season is stopped in the state totally. Extensive studies on glacial lakes, they also burst during this season because the temperature is high. And 24/7 emergency operation centers in the district and states, they are doing their jobs regularly. This was the first, immediately the government of Himachal Pradesh constituted a committee of the experts to see the causes of the landslides and damage of buildings in Shimla town only. And they submit their report. Similarly, same committees have been constituted in district Kullu also. This is the involvement of academic and research. Yes, I am concluding it. Institution to access the landslides, and these are the district of, Himachal Pradesh University has been assigned district of Shimla and Kinnaur, NIT Hamirpur, Central University, IIT Mandi, GSI Chandigarh, Wadia University, Institute Dehradun, CSIR, Roorkee. They have been assigned different districts. This is the HPSDMS strategic initiatives, scheme for hospitals to train the doctors and the evacuation plans of inside the building. Next is the scheme for structural safety and audit of lifeline buildings, our schools, our hospitals, public buildings, basically we can say. Next is the scheme training of masons. It is very important for the construction of even the government buildings also. All the technical people or the civil engineers, they are being trained in the CBRI Roorkee. The last session is completed, I think, 2 or 3 days back. Next is the creation of task force and youth volunteers. That I said, we have trained about 15,000. This is the school safety app that we have taken care of, and this is the ham radio. We have launched this policy in the state. Strategy initiatives taken by the state, training and providing National Institute Disaster Management, and total these trainers have been trained. Training needs assessment, we are taking care of it also. And this is all about the state of Himachal Pradesh of the disaster during 2023. Thank you very much. Anything you want to discuss or to? Maybe we can have it in the plenary after that. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Very important thoughts from you, sir. Particularly, you are fresh from a disaster which has recently happened. Well, I mean, when we talk about capacity building, it is not just about training. It is not just about capacities of individuals, but it is also about capacities of institutions or the gaps within the institutional capacities. And Balwant Saab highlighted the gaps or the challenges that were there in the institutional capacity, in the capacity of an institution to handle such kind of unprecedented and unexpected hazardous situations at a certain time. When it starts from early morning, and well, I mean, it goes beyond anyone's control when we say that unplanned constructions have happened. So there are things which need to be dealt with at systemic level by the institutions. He also talked about capacity building of different types of stakeholders in which masons and others were involved. So a comprehensive outlook towards building of capacities, particularly focusing on things which take us to analyzing the risks and having a risk-informed planning outlook for a disaster management authority at state level. What is it that a state may be lacking in terms of, or inadequacies in terms of material, human, and resource capacities. Maybe that's something which we need to further look into. And I request my friend Deepak Malik from the bank to dwell more upon what efforts the bank has undertaken as well to address such capacity gaps in the different states.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So, Prasad, when he introduced me, he said veteran. तो मुझे लगता है कि एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में ही बात करेंगे. दूसरा, ये पोडियम बहुत ऊंचा है, मेरा सिर्फ सर नज़र आएगा आपको, तो मैं अगर यहाँ से बात कर लूँ आपसे. आई थिंक जब हम प्रिपेयर्डनेस की बात करते हैं, कम्युनिटी लेवल प्रिपेयर्डनेस की, तो हम लोग इस हाँ नहीं ठीक है. तो इज इट एम आई ऑडिबल नाउ? या तो हम लोग जब प्रिपेयर्डनेस की बात करते हैं तो आज से 25 साल पहले भी हम लोग यही बात करते थे कि लोग नहीं जानते हैं कि क्या करना चाहिए, एंड द फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डर नीड टू बी मेड अवेयर ऑफ, एंड देन यू नो उसके बाद जो है नए कीवर्ड्स जो हैं वो इजाद हुए, नए वर्ड्स हम लेकर आए, जिसमें हम लोगों ने DRM बोला, फिर रेजिलियंस बोला, एंड वी स्टार्टेड डूइंग लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंट थिंग्स. We went into mitigation, we went into preparedness, we started talking also about poverty, you know, कि अगर poverty खत्म हो जाएगा तो that is also a sign of resilience building, and we talked a lot about different other things. We also talked about institutional strengthening, and we said कि institutions strengthen नहीं होंगे तो community capacity का कोई मतलब नहीं है, and that actually had a very valid reason for saying so. If, for example, if Met Department doesn't know that how much it is going to rain, तो flood कब आएगा कोई बता ही नहीं सकता है ना? तो इसलिए institutional strengthening भी बहुत ज़रूरी था. So what happened over the time is that everything happened, and somehow the community preparedness remained there itself. And although it is still a very good buzzword, but if you look at the proportion of attention we pay to community preparedness, it is marginal, and there are valid reasons for that. It is not that nobody wanted it. एक तो हमारा जो अभी सर कह रहे थे institutional capacity, even the SDMAs really struggle to build the capacity of communities. आज हम कितने भी SDMAs के बारे में बात कर लें, अभी सर ने नंबर बताए बड़े और हम किसी भी SDMA या NDMA के बारे में बात करें, so you can always hear big numbers that yes, I mean we have built capacities of these many number of people, these many, लेकिन वो कितना % of villages हैं, कितने % of villages के अंदर हम reach कर पाए हैं, I think we have just started, and the capacity of our own institution to build the capacity of villages is first to be built to be able to do so. तो आई थिंक पहले हम SDMAs की बात कर लें कि हाँ उनके पास कितना स्टाफ है. आप हिमाचल में पूछ सकते हैं, स्टाफ नहीं है, स्टाफ ही नहीं है. और हम स्टाफ से शुरू करेंगे, फिर स्टाफ की कैपेसिटी से शुरू करेंगे, और उसके बाद पायलट इनिशिएटिव डज नॉट एक्चुअली मीन दैट वी हैव स्टार्टेड अचीविंग आवर गोल्स. इट इज़ अ टेस्ट. हमने टेस्ट किया है फील्ड के अंदर कि हाँ हम ये करेंगे तो ये होगा. हमने ये टेस्ट तो कर लिया है, लेकिन आगे क्या करना है अभी हमारे को बहुत लंबी यात्रा है, और उसके लिए हमारे को अपनी तैयारी करनी चाहिए. ये पहली बात है जिसको मैं एम्फसाइज करना चाह रहा था. दूसरा, जब हम स्टेक होल्डर्स की बात करते हैं, स्टेक होल्डर्स डज नॉट ओनली मीन कम्युनिटीज़, एंड इट हैज़ नेवर मेंट सो. एंड वी टॉक अबाउट, मैं सर अभी डिज़ास्टर से निकले और अभी ना कई सारे वीडियोस थे कि वो पूरा वो बिल्डिंग यूँ करके यूँ धम करके वो पानी के अंदर गिरा. आप लोगों ने सबने देखा होगा वो वीडियो डिज़ास्टर का. तो सर बिल्डिंग कोड्स के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, और मैं शायद उसी को एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं कि हम लोग यहाँ उत्तराखंड में भी ना जब बिल्डिंग बनती है, अगर आप उत्तराखंड से कुछ लोग हैं तो आपने गाँव में देखा है वो कैसे बनाते हैं. पहले ना थोड़ी सी दीवार बनाएंगे इधर से, थोड़ी सी दीवार बनाएंगे इधर से, और बीच में 4 वो सरिये डाल के उसका जो है वो कॉलम बना देंगे, वो पिलर बन जाएगा। वो आप उत्तराखंड से अगर कोई हैं तो वो बता सकते हैं गाँव से। काफ़ी जगह नहीं सर, यही यूज़ होता है। और वो इतना बड़ा ब्लंडर है, इतना बड़ा ब्लंडर है, उसके ऊपर जो है अगर आप देखें तो जैसे वो आप पत्तों के ऊपर वो कुछ रख देते हैं ना भारी सा, वैसे वो छत बनती है कि अगर वो असलियत में मैं भी हाथ लगा के हिला कर देखूं तो शायद वो छत जो है मेरे ही सर पे गिर जाए। तो हम वहाँ से शुरू करते हैं कि हाँ हमारी कैपेसिटी एट मेसन लेवल है ना। चलिए मेसन एक बात हो गई। हमारे इंजीनियर्स जो उनको जो कि कोड्स के बारे में बात करते हैं, जो कि डिज़ाइन करते हैं बिल्डिंग्स। आप कोड डिज़ाइनिंग एक बहुत अलग बात है, जो हमारे कोड्स बन जाते हैं उनके बारे में हमारे इंजीनियर्स को पता होना भी एक कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग है। आप आज यहाँ पर डिज़ाइनिंग की बात करें, अगर कोई ब्रिज डिज़ाइन होता है या घर डिज़ाइन होता है तो क्या वो एक्चुअल के अंदर, क्या वो एक्चुअली इज डिज़ाइंड एज पर दी कोड्स या रिवाइज्ड कोड्स जो है, अभी वो भी नहीं हो पाता है। हम लोग अभी वहाँ तक भी नहीं पहुँचे हैं। तो आई थिंक ये जो स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, इसका भी जो भार है हमारे SDMAs के ऊपर है, NDMA के ऊपर है। एंड इट इज़ अ लॉन्ग जर्नी फॉर अस, और उसके अंदर हम सब स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं आई थिंक, एंड वी ऑल हैव a role to play in it. I'm not speaking on behalf of the World Bank here. I work there as a consultant. So please take my words as a good Indian citizen, and I'm also here as a humanitarian professional working on disaster management. तो ये मुझे लगता है कि अभी ये दो चीज़ें हैं जिनको एक तो स्टेक होल्डर्स डिफाइन करने की ज़रूरत है हमें, और दूसरा अपनी इंस्टीट्यूशनल कैपेसिटीज़ को समझने की ज़रूरत है, जिससे हम आगे कैपेसिटीज़ को बढ़ा सकें। सो थैंक यू सो मच फॉर लिसनिंग टू मी, एंड ओवर टू प्रसाद। थैंक यू।
दीपक भाई हमेशा स्वीट होते हैं, तो स्वीटनेस इज ऑल्सो कपल्ड विद शॉर्टनेस। so short and sweet, when they are put together, they make a good combination. He was bang on, बहुत ही सही बात करी कि आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द राइट काइंड ऑफ स्टेक होल्डर्स फॉर बिल्डिंग कैपेसिटीज, मतलब हुज कैपेसिटीज आर वी बिल्डिंग। ये भी हम लोग तो कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग के बिजनेस में है, सब बात करते हैं, हुज कैपेसिटीज मैटर एंड हुज कैपेसिटीज वी बिल्ड। अब इंजीनियर्स की कैपेसिटीज़ बिल्ड करने के लिए हमारे पास इंस्टीट्यूशंस है, हमारे पास कॉलेजेस है। अभी कॉलेजेस, हम तो यूनिवर्सिटी के कैंपस में ही बैठे हैं, यहाँ पे हालांकि स्टूडेंट्स नहीं है, लेकिन इंजीनियर्स की कैपेसिटी बिल्ड करने के लिए काफ़ी व्यवस्थाएं है। लेकिन जो लोग सबसे निचले वाले स्तर के ऊपर काम करते हैं, दोज हु वर्क एट द ग्रास रूट लेवल, उनकी कैपेसिटीज़ का क्या होता है। दीपक was right in saying that we need to define the stakeholders when we start thinking about and acting upon building the capacities. And the second thing is about institutional processes. Well, I mean, Deepak bhai, it's not a turnkey process. जैसे बलवंत साहब ने बात की और हम पहले भी बात कर रहे थे, जो शहर 25,000 50,000 की आबादी के लिए बना है, उधर अगर उससे 10 गुना लोग आके रह रहे हैं तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर तो कम पड़ने वाला ही है। और अगर हर एक को आने वाले टूरिस्टों के लिए या आने वाले यात्रियों के लिए, मतलब ऑल दीज हिल प्लेसेस आर आइदर रिलीजियस प्लेसेस, वर्शिप प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप, या टूरिस्ट प्लेसेस है, तो यात्रीगण तो हमेशा आते रहते हैं। तो हर एक को यात्री की सेवा के लिए अगर होटल या गेस्ट हाउसेस बनाने हैं तो 90 डिग्री या और भी कहीं जाके घर बनने वाले हैं। We need to keep that in consideration and see as to how the institutions need to look into their own capacities, not only to prepare the rules. Rules तो है, rules के बगैर कुछ नहीं होता, rules तो बनता है, सब rules है, but to enforce those rules, उसके लिए हमारे पास कुछ है नहीं। तो इसलिए हम चलते हैं अभी कि हमारी जो संस्था है रेडार में ये जो निचले स्तर वाले लोग हैं, मतलब स्टेक होल्डर्स है, आर्टिजन्स हो या इंजीनियर्स हो, इनकी कैपेसिटीज बिल्ड करने के लिए, आवर नेम ऑल्सो सेज इंजीनियर्स फॉर डिजास्टर रिलीफ, बट वी हैव नॉन इंजीनियर्स टू ऑन बोर्ड. I'd like to invite Akhilesh to talk about the approach that an organization which is engaged in humanitarian capacity building has in terms of addressing the challenges that these smaller stakeholders who work at the grassroots level face. Akhilesh, please.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so I'll straight away get to the point. As sir mentioned, Radar India, it's registered engineers for disaster relief. We have been working over past 2 decades, and we have responded to most of the disasters which have taken place in India. We've also responded in Nepal, Bangladesh, and other parts of the world. The approach which we have refined over a period of time, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm also going to take the specific cases where we have responded. So the approach which we take in terms of capacity building, a lot of people see capacity building as a tool to achieve something. We like to see it as a strategy. It's a strategy which will pay in the long run. As we keep talking about institutional capacity, individual capacity, but capacity building as a process, if it is seen as a strategy for building the organization and strengthening it to reap out the objectives for which it was set on. So in a disaster scenario or humanitarian scenario, we can either do it proactively or on real-time basis. या तो हम तैयार हो सकते हैं पहले से ही डिज़ास्टर सिनेरियो के लिए, या फिर जब डिज़ास्टर आता है तब हम तैयारी करें कि हमें किस तरह से रिस्पॉन्ड करना है. Here Balwant sir has also highlighted, and Deepak ji also highlighted about the need of capacitating stakeholders at different levels. So it's very important, it becomes very important to understand what are the gaps in the capacity, existing capacity, and what we have been following at Radar India is a cascaded approach. We are a small organization, and we humbly submit that though we try to do more, but we also know that we can do only limited work. So the approaches which we have taken is that we have conducted training of trainers. We have trained individuals who have further trained many more individuals, which are not in our ecosystem, but we are aware of the fact that they have trained many more other individuals. We provide supervised practice. So when we provide capacity building sessions, there is a mentorship and supervision by the trainer, and it ensures quality as well as the right orientation. So the idea is building individual capacity as well as organizational capacity so that institutional capacity is strengthened. So we are looking at individual capacity as well as organizational capacity. Coming on to the case of, we are sitting in Uttarakhand, and Uttarakhand has seen series of disaster, faced it, and have come out of the disasters. Radar India responded in 2013 flash floods which occurred in Uttarakhand. What we did, all of you, I don't need to give you a overview of what happened in 2013. Everyone is aware of it. So what we did in the response, there was a challenge with the state government that there was lack of coordination amongst the different players which came on board. They wanted to work, help. There was government agencies, there were INGOs, there were civil society organizations. So government was aware of lack of coordination which was happening. So UNDMT was asked by the government of Uttarakhand to mainstream coordination function. So UNDMT asked us, and we deployed 15 skilled individuals. I'll also talk about the roster, radar roster, which has a pool of more than 250 skilled professionals who are available for deployment. So it is from the same pool that we deployed 15 trained skilled individuals, and we supported planning and implementation of WASH, public health in different sectors, as well as in recovery, preparedness and mitigation planning. So what was the outcome from this? Which came out as improved effectiveness in disaster response, recovery and mitigation. Similarly, we responded during Nepal earthquake. During Nepal earthquake response, we used two-pronged strategy. There was we provided real-time capacity building for transitional shelters and proactive training for building back safe shelters. There was an immediate need of shelters, as well as when reconstruction phase was going on. For that phase, we provided training. In the cascaded approach which I mentioned, there were 3 levels which we provided trainings. The first one was technical TOT for program staff, officials of Government of Nepal, NGOs, INGOs and UN agencies. Level 2 technical and TOT was for artisans, masons, carpenters and semi-skilled workers, which we were talking about, the people who are at different levels. How do we approach in terms of building their capacity? So here we had utilized that approach. The level 3 was, Deepak ji highlighted, what about the capacity of the community? So we had conducted sessions on knowledge and skill training for beneficiaries, homeowners, community volunteers. So what was the output from this Nepal earthquake response? We reached out to 15,000 community members, and 400 community level real-time training programs were conducted. In collaboration with IOM Nepal, 16 batches of construction quality and supervision for BBS training was conducted for 325 government engineers. We also conducted 14 training courses on different thematic areas: resilient WASH, livelihoods, CBDR, and so on. We had 292 participants from 95 different agencies, and these participants were trained by local trainers. They were Nepalese. So these trainers were earlier trained by radar. So we utilized the same approach. Here we have salient features which I already talked about of the project. One thing which I would like to highlight is, in the picture you can see on-site demonstrations was given. When we were training participants on shelter construction, on-site demonstration were given, and 90% of it was field work. So there was also an interesting thing which happened. The participants who were trained, they were awarded certificates, and these certificates were recognized, and in the government projects they were utilized by the participants so as to generate further jobs or livelihood for themselves. So that is the value in terms of getting trained, which they reaped out of these trainings. Next, we responded during 2019 Kerala floods. We conducted capacity building sessions with, along with technical, we also provided technical assistance to the government of Kerala. It involved, the capacity building sessions were conducted based on the rapid assessments which were conducted prior to designing the capacity building plan. What are the areas on which they have to be conducted. And the target audience for these trainings were district level and frontline workers from Kerala Water Authority, Health and Kudumshri departments, and school teachers and students. We also provided technical assistance on water quality testing and treatment, including equipment support. More than 3,500 individuals were directly reached, and we installed 20 community water filters during that period. And more than 500 community members and 300 government workers were trained during that period of our engagement. Now, what Radar India could offer, as you would have sensed some of it when I was talking, we can provide you, as I said, we have a pool of skilled professionals. We call them Radar India members. They go through a rigorous process. They also get trained through deployment and through our capacity building trainings which are conducted. They are available at short notice. We have experience of managing different phases of disaster management cycle. As I told you, we have responded to almost most of the disasters which have taken place in last 2 decades. Yeah, so that's all from my side. Thank you everyone for listening. I'll be happy to take any questions later.
Thank you, Girish. Questions you could have at the end of the last presentation. Thank you. You brought up an important point about cascaded approach to capacity building, which is all the more important when we talk about whose capacities we are building. We don't have too many trained trainers. We cannot train everyone at one go. तो इस तरह से होना चाहिए, how to teach people. That's why a chain reaction needs to happen in the whole process of capacity building. We believe, as we said, Radar India believes in training the trainers and then the trainers training for the communities or the other stakeholders. To talk about the capacity building of communities, I would like to invite Srilakshmi over here, who is an architect by profession, as I introduced her earlier. But she has taken a step beyond what Radar has done. She is a Radar member as well and runs an organization which works with the community members. Over to you, Radar.
Yeah, thank you. Again, the same problem like Deepak, I cannot go behind this. Okay, so thank you all for listening so patiently and responding to this, and we will come back again to the question answer sessions also. But before that, what I would like to speak is, as a Radar member, how I have taken this forward to the communities. Our organization has taken forward to these communities. To start with, let me introduce myself as an architect basically, and I have come from a development sector. So I'm a practicing architect, and after I was being trained with Radar, then I also understood the need to work into this sector and into the humanitarian sector basically, and how to take this work forward to the communities. So this is our attempt to how we take this to the communities and how it is helping the communities in disaster safety. So building capacities for the communities, and most of our work is in Maharashtra, the state of Maharashtra. But in Maharashtra, we have both the hazards, like we work on the floods also and landslides. most of this thing we are into zone 3 of earthquake also. So we have, when we talk about disaster safety, we are looking at multi-hazards also. So yeah, next. Next. So disaster risk, we feel, are the outcomes of the combinations of natural processes and anthropogenic activities. Like what Sir had discussed and what Deepak had said also, we look into the linkages between environment and disaster safety. So we cannot talk about disaster safety without talking about environment, and we cannot leave aside environment and talk only about disaster safety. And that is the prime linkage what we try to bring out into our work also when we are talking about awareness and capacity building. So these are those. So how do we look at risk? We look at risk as a combination of both, and then how do we, where do we put in our effort when we are talking about environment and where we are talking about disaster safety. And like I said, because I have come from radar, capacity building is a strategy and not a tool. So we take this forward and we do not use that as a strategy, and how do we look at capacity building of communities then? So all these questions arise. Why, what, when, whom, and how. So why are we doing this? For whom are we doing this? How are we doing this? So all these questions, and we try to answer all these questions through our work when we are working with the communities for this FT. Next. So this is our approach. We assess, we articulate, we adapt, and then we advocate. So we start with the assessment of what is required for the vulnerable communities or disaster-prone, hazard-prone areas. Then we articulate what needs to be done after these needs assessment. What stage we are at, and how do we go forward from here. So that is what we do. How the communities adapt to it. So like we said that it is natural processes also, disasters also natural processes. But we do not stop only at saying that it is a natural processes. In the yesterday's plenary also and in today's this thing also, we have many times heard this, that it is all the natural processes, as something what we cannot do anything about it. But it is not only about that. So there are many activities which need to be done also in all the phases of disaster. So when we are talking about disaster, we are talking basically working into interventions into all the three phases. That is pre-disaster phase, disaster phase, and post-disaster phase. And post-disaster phase, what feeds in, what learnings are there, and how do we feed it again into the preparedness part of it, and how do we make the community safe, is a very important part of this. And that is why assessment comes in first, then we articulate what needs to be done, how the communities and how do we adopt to these, and then how do we advocate. So what happens next, that is what we are looking here at. So we did this assessment for 8 villages for disaster risk in Maharashtra. These are the 8 villages which are again prone to landslides, and that is why this assessment was done, and this is only a case study of how we work in the state of Maharashtra. When we come to, we say that articulate and adapting, these were, in these villages, we had conducted the focus group discussions and trainings. Now, who are the most vulnerable sections of the community? It is always children, and it is always women, because women are at home. Men maybe are outside, men may not be there to help also, especially when emergency arises. And that is why we feel that if we empower women on disaster safety, then the family is safe, then the community is safe. And that is how we take trainings with the women. So when we take trainings with the women, it cannot be, especially when we are in the rural areas or when we are in the communities, that we have to take the trainings which are suited for them. And we try to articulate the trainings in the modules in that way, that what is best for them. So understanding their needs basically. So this safety and evacuation training programs were given for the women, how to evacuate themselves at the term of, in the time of any disasters basically, and especially for the landslides and for the floods. That is what, which has come from our assessments. Next. Then this was for the children. So because children are very vulnerable, so we formed youth groups and we trained the youth groups, task force training, what sir was also saying. So these task force, these youths were identified, they were trained, and they were especially trained how to evacuate the small children also. So if we have to remove the children and take them to the safer conditions, and we did not stop only at training, but whatever basic resources that were required, those were also given, and how to gather these resources at the time of emergencies, and how to evacuate. These trainings and this capacity building of this youth group was done. Next. Then these are again this women forum, in which we created a youth group, a task force of women also. So we trained a few women so that they also understand how this, if need be there for evacuation, then how it should be done. And especially, sir, what we were discussing right now also, for the special need people, especially older women, if we have to evacuate older women, if we have to evacuate needs with people with special needs, there might be blind people, or there might be injured people, or there injured people also, and there might be some other disabilities also. So how do we evacuate them? So these life skill trainings were also given to the women, this task force women. Below this, I have given the areas where we have done these trainings. Actually, I am not mentioning that because you might not be aware of the geographical area of Maharashtra actually. Then again, these were again those women group trainings. This was a flood training that was given, how to evacuate, and how flood safety trainings were given to women. Now these were few villages actually, which were again, because of this Almaty dam, like what sir was saying, because of this dam management is not proper, Maharashtra also faces a lot of challenges with these Sangli, Satara and Kolhapur area. Satara basically for landslides, and Kolhapur and Sangli for floods. So whenever that backwaters of Almaty enters into these villages, so these villages 100% gets drowned. So in 2018, when these villages were 100% drowned, we took these trainings for the women on how to evacuate, what is the emergency kit, how to carry this emergency kit, what to carry, how to measure rain. So, okay, you might get this early warning that it will rain in the district, but whether that water will flood into my house, how to understand that, and how to take steps, how to understand what that early warning is, and how to respond to that early warning system. So all those trainings were conducted with the women. And these life-saving skills were also given to them, that how to evacuate, how to, if somebody is choked, how to choked with water, flood waters, then how to treat them. Okay, next. So this was again for children. This training was, this our sir was showing it, if they're choked with water, I mean, like if the water enters nose and all, how you have to respond to that. So these are the safety trainings for the children, especially for the children. Like children were also given these trainings, and their parents and the youth group of that group was also given the trainings, especially how to take care of the children in emergencies. Next. So now again, coming back to this advocacy and adapting to this, this was Irshalwadi actually. If you have known this, everybody must have heard, in July we had a landslide in which that complete hamlet of Irshalwadi, which is on the Western Ghats in the Konkan region, which is absolutely prone to landslides. This area was completely devastated, because that whole hill came onto the village, and the complete village village was destroyed. That hamlet was completely destroyed. Only few people out of 229, I think 228, 84 deaths were there, and others, 22 children became orphan. Cattle and everything was lost. Only those people who were away from the villages and who were saved were evacuated. Other thing, it was rendered completely inhabitable now. Means now we cannot do anything about this, and that we have to shift the people also to the different area, different location also. So we had done the assessment for this, and now we are presenting a paper on this in the International Symposium on Disaster Resilience and Sustainable Development in Bangkok on 7th and 8th of December. Next. Then because we did this, Irishalwadi was there, there are 9 other villages in Raigad district which are very, very landslide prone. And we conducted a landslide risk assessment in these villages also, and we found out that this is the Dungi area of that Beed Khurd village, which was identified as a landslide prone village, one of the village from those 9 villages. And what we, again, like what sir said also, and what we identified that way, it is not only about the physical location, it is not only about that location is landslide prone, so the hazard is there. The hazard exists because of many other components also. So when we did this vulnerability assessment, we also find out from this field visit and from this focus group discussions with the stakeholders that there are socio-economic problems. Why this village was there? I mean, why this Dungi area is so much prone to landslide? Because people staying here are from lower caste. They are not getting any place, safer locations in the village. And because their families are increasing, they are going into the mountains as the family increases. And when they are going into the mountains, they don't know how to cut and what is the repercussions of building their houses or, you know, flattening that land slope that is there. So they don't understand the repercussions of that. And that is where this preparedness training comes in. For them to make them understand that how you have to cut the hill, how that slope retention strategies. I mean, if you are not having the slope retention strategies, you cannot cut the hill like this, and you cannot construct your house that way. And so the vulnerability is not only because of the physical location, but it is also because of the socio-economic problems and because of the environmental thing also. So environmental vulnerability is very, very high. Degradation of land is there, deforestation is there, hill slope cutting. Absolutely unengineered hill slope cutting takes place because they don't understand how it will react to the rains later on. So then that type of capacity building was also there. Next. So these are some of our research and publications of whatever. So when we come to advocacy, when we say that we advocate, then it also goes as to the international audience for in terms of research papers. Next. And again, like what we have gained from radar is achieving disaster resilience to build back better. So we believe in building back better. It is not about, we are not leaving people or communities there, but we are trying to build it back better. Thank you.
We'll have the audience with the questions. Please, sir, please introduce yourself and your organization, and then to whom you want to ask the question.
Sir, myself Sharan God, and I'm working as assistant engineer in Public Works Department, Building and Roads, Government of Haryana, Gujarat, and I'm a researcher by passion since last 27 years. And yesterday, at the same time, there was a special previous lecture which I was giving. That was on nano-hybrid technology.
Very good.
Yeah, my question is, I think, Professor and Sir can give. As per my information of what knowledge I am having, let me take northern India. Right? In northern India, we take up the entire Himachal region. Himachal Pradesh is having 14 different sectors as per soil. As per soil. And Haryana is having 11. Rajasthan is having 36. Punjab is having 57. J&K, sorry, now only Jammu. Jammu region is having 26. And your Kashmir region, that is having 39. Ladakh, that is having around 26. So there are a different soil, and every soil has a different problem. Is it possible for any, I'm simply saying, any Can we have a uniform ECBC code? No. But there is one certain technology which can come up to a solution. That is the composite solution. I agree, poor people cannot afford. But government can. Government can. Rich people can afford. Like this institution, they can afford. Why that composite structure is not in ECBC code? First question. Secondly, we are talking about technology. Let's take 3 stages.
Can we take one question and then proceed?
Sir, this is interrelated.
This is interrelated, okay.
Yes. Until unless you don't understand the complete question.
Okay, fine.
I take 3 cases. First, there is a normal life. Second, disaster happens. Third, disaster. Right? Three cases. अब बहुत सिंपल वे में बात करें तो जब डिजास्टर हो चुका, साइट पे कौन है? सीओ साहब या एक फोर्स या स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का? मैं खुद ऐसी सिचुएशन में था 2 बार हरियाणा में ऑन साइट. अब मेरे पास जो इक्विपमेंट है, जो मैं यूज़ कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है, काम पूरा करना. अब उस टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए भी कितना अपग्रेडेशन आप करेंगे, वही बात फिर आ जाती है. हर टेक्नोलॉजी हर जगह काम नहीं करती. हमारी इंडियन डेमोग्राफी इतना डाइवर्सिफाई कंट्री है, हर जगह अलग अलग टेक्नोलॉजी चाहिए. व्हाई वी आर नॉट बिल्डिंग आवर ओन? क्वेश्चन इज दिस. व्हाई वोकल फॉर लोकल, दैट इज ए national motto nowadays. Why we are not promoting that? Why we are not picking up ancient technology? They are sufficiently enough. There are structures who are 1,000 years old, but still nothing happened to them, even in Himachal. Why? One such example is in Goa. There is a church entirely made of food grains. Nothing happens. Same is Rakhi Gadi. There is a museum in Haryana. That bricks, they are made of food grains. In short, technology matters, right? And all the case study, that matters. So we have to integrate these things. Why that not is in policy? Question is this. But I have given you the entire brief because from first to last, we have to consider everything.
Thank you, Mr. Shailendra. Yeah, let us answer. We get lost otherwise. Though I don't feel that we would be in a position over here to answer all your questions because we have a systemic problem issue. I will request both of them to respond.
We can speak one to one later on.
Yeah. Basically,
जो हमारे कंस्ट्रक्शन के लिए जो आप बात कर रहे हो कि वो गवर्नमेंट को इम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहिए. जैसे हमारा स्टेट ऑफ हिमाचल प्रदेश का टाउन, देयर इज़ वन एक्ट कॉल्ड टाउन एंड कंट्री प्लानिंग एक्ट, that we have banned all the construction over the slope of 45 degree, right? And below that 45 degree, any construction can be made, number one. Number two, disaster does not distinguish the person is poor or the rich. And number third is the material that we can say about the building codes, what the architect or the civil engineer recommends. Can that be affordable to the poor? Can he afford all these things or not? अब there are number of things, बहुत सारी ऐसी situations हैं कि आपको जो उसका steel है, अब वो स्टील का एज पर योर रिकमेंडेशन एज ए सिविल इंजीनियर दैट कैन नॉट बी अफोर्डेबल टू ए पर्सन लिविंग बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन. He has to construct, no, government cannot construct houses to each and every individual of the state. No, there are, listen, there are building codes to the government everywhere. I think there is no building, rather our 5 or 6 bridges were collapsed. Maybe some other reasons for that, but otherwise no building in Himachal Pradesh has collapsed during this disaster. It was all the private buildings and the private houses constructed by the people. And the quality of the material used for construction of that is the question, whether a person running below the poverty line can afford such building codes or not. And government cannot take care of each and every individual. That we can say, I'm sitting in the government, we take decisions. We are in the SDMS. We launched, this time there was a special leave package was given in Himachal Pradesh, only keeping in mind the situation of the poor people, that let the poor people construct a good house. That the government of Himachal Pradesh during this special leave package is giving 7 lakh rupees to each person, each house which has been damaged. इसके अलावा जो है, in spite of that, we are providing the cement for construction of house at the government rates. We are providing all bricks and all grits and all materials on government rates and all. So government is taking care of for the post-disaster activities. But we can, if we analyze if we make a survey of the vulnerability of the houses, that these are the vulnerable houses and may damage during any kind of disaster. It is not possible to allow these all houses to destroy or to reconstruct all these houses, or to have a retrofitting kind of materials may be used for saving the houses or not. But building codes are there. It is the politics or it is the political will of the people how to implement. That I am saying, if you visit Shimla, you will find the houses or the buildings having constructed up to 85-degree slope. But there is a provision in the law. But we are not, I am the person, I have my connection with some higher authorities, I will get the things done. There are the people sitting, the civil people, the junior engineers and AE, what you are saying of all these people, right? So I think you have taken my answer.
Maybe Deepak sir will respond and then...
अकेले में बात करेंगे, अकेले में. Shailendra, so Shailendra, first of all, I think we are here not that competent to tell you why a particular construction technology has not been used by government. First of all, no. I'm again, please. So I think as a whole, I have seen government taking initiatives and doing pilots on different technologies. I've seen them doing pilots on different kinds of bridges, हर तरह के bridges को लेकर आना, दूसरे countries के अंदर जाके उनसे learn करना, systems को बदलना. ऐसा नहीं है कि ऐसा नहीं होता है. तो government के अंदर ये सब होता है. Although a bit slow, जब हाथी चलता है और जब बड़ा structure होता है तो उसकी अपनी एक speed होती है ना, और वो वैसे ही होगा हमेशा. आपको वो ऐसा नहीं मिलेगा कि हाँ टेक्नोलॉजी आई और आपने यूज़ कर लिया और आपने एक दिन के अंदर देख लिया. तो ऐसा नहीं होता है, कहीं नहीं होता है, किसी कंट्री में नहीं होता है ऐसा, है ना. आप यूज़ करते हैं टेक्नोलॉजीज और यहाँ भी होगी, यहाँ भी नई नई टेक्नोलॉजी यूज़ होंगी, ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं होंगी. एंड आई कैन अश्योर यू कि हिंदुस्तान की जो ग्रोथ है, इट इज़ वी आर ग्रोइंग एंड वी विल ग्रो. सो दैट्स वन थिंग आई वांट टू से. इन टर्म्स ऑफ कोडल प्रोविजंस, जैसे आपने सॉइल के लिए कहा, जब भी कोई बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन होता है तो डेफिनेटली हर जगह का सॉइल इन्वेस्टिगेशन होता है, और जो बिल्डिंग बनती है उस सॉइल की जियो टेक्निकल इन्वेस्टिगेशंस होती हैं, बाकी इन्वेस्टिगेशंस होती हैं. उस सॉइल की पैरामीटर्स को देखते हुए ही सारी बिल्डिंग की डिज़ाइनिंग होती है. चाहे वो बिल्डिंग हो, चाहे वो रोड्स हो, चाहे वो ब्रिजेस हों, चाहे वो अबटमेंट्स हों, डिज़ाइन होते हैं जो ब्रिजेस के, तो बेस, उसका बेस वही होता है. चाहे सॉइल कितने टाइप की हो, डेफिनेटली उस पर्टिकुलर सॉइल टाइप के लिए या तो वो कंस्ट्रक्शन होता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि वो नहीं होता, डिफरेंट नहीं होता है. और उसके हिसाब से टेक्नोलॉजीज़ भी आती हैं, थोड़ा सा कुछ नई टेक्नोलॉजीज आई होंगी जो कि आप जानते होंगे, जो गवर्नमेंट ने यूज़ नहीं की होंगी, ऐसा हो सकता है। आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, लेकिन अगर नहीं हुई है तो क्या पता उसके भी वैलिड रीजंस हो, टेक्निकल रीजंस हो, जो कि आप नहीं जानते हैं, वो लोग जानते हो। आई एम अगेन सेइंग कि आप जो कह रहे हैं वो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि बिल्कुल सही हो, क्या पता वो टेक्नोलॉजीज़ जो हैं वो इस लायक हों ही नहीं कि हिंदुस्तान के अंदर यूज़ हों, क्या पता वो कॉस्ट एफिशिएंट ना हो, है ना। तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें हो सकती हैं ऐसी, है ना। तो इसलिए इसको ये कहना कि हाँ भाई हम यूज़ क्यों नहीं करते हैं, आई थिंक let the administrative body takes their own decision based on their understanding. Thank you. Sir, हाँ।
Thank you very much. My name is Yogesh Garbyal, and I represent Climbing Beyond the Summit, CBTS. It's a non-profit. We are mostly focusing on climbing beyond the summits, that's CBTS. Its more focuses on enabling women through adventure sports and linking it with livelihood and acting as a first responders. So I felt so good for the first time I heard from Madam Sujata ma'am, they are focused on women. First time I saw that focused training on women is being conducted by Radar India. Thank you very much. Even we have been training people from the community, local communities, and even we sent individuals who are passionate about mountains to the Himachal Pradesh as well, Abhimas Manali, for their basic and advanced course, and we have been giving refreshers trainings as well. What I find is, even the government administration is very, like, when I talk about rescue thing, they only have a mentality of men, right? They think about men, they can only do it something. If I talk about rescue team as a women, they'll say, no, mat karo ye, aisa mat karo, problem hai. And my area, I belong to Pithoragarh, and the district headquarters is 200 kilometers from my place. I can't wait for people coming from 200 kilometers to my area, right? So I have to prepare myself. So we have been training, and fortunately, even for rescues and all, I have to request administration to allow us. It's a very difficult thing. They are not prepared, their team is not there, even SDRF is not there, and I have to request multiple times to send our team to that location. And I'm very, very happy to say that in 2021, because of the flash flood, 48 meters RCC road was damaged, completely damaged, and almost close to 72 villages of the upper Himalayas, ranging from 3,000 feet to 12,000 feet. That was the only road for all defense personnel and all that was struck, and 6 women mountaineers, those were trained, were present at that particular location. And she's the one, she is Kalavati Badal. She led the operation. They made a safe passage for those areas, I mean in that particular river, and they made almost 5,000 people to safely cross that particular thing. Until the temporary bridge was built, till then they were very much there in the 24 hours, they were present there. My just question is that, how to change this mindset? Because I'm finding it very difficult, even after carrying out so many operations, it's very difficult for us to change the mindset of individuals or institutions, right? We are talking about building capacity building of institutions and all. So it's getting very difficult. I have to talk through multiple channels to, ensure that to what you call it, उनको मुझे समझा के वो करना पड़ता है. So कैसे इसको करें? Thank you. ये मेरा question.
You were talking about changing mindsets. Okay, so mindsets तो इतने जल्दी change नहीं होंगे, and but that is fine. I mean, like we just have to keep on doing our work. And because if you think of changing mindset, then the whole world will change, and I don't know what will the repercussions of that actually. So it is better that we keep on doing our work. जिनकी जान बचाना ज़्यादा important है. Whether it is a man or a woman who is rescuing, that is not important. First responders are important. और first responder कोई भी हो सकता है. Actually, अगर वो World Trade Tower का example लिया तो everybody must have heard the story of that dog, no, who has saved 3,000 lives or something like that, who went on up and down, not 3,000, sorry, I missed the number. I really don't know, but something nearing to 300 or something like that. But that dog saved that lives, so many lives. So ये ज़रूरी नहीं है कि कौन है, जान बच रही है, that is more important. That is what I feel. And secondly, अगर आप हमारी strategy को पूछते हो कि how we do that, तो we actually don't make big hush-hush of that. If we are training women, then we do it in their way. So that local context जो होता है ना, we just have to respect that, acknowledge that, and we keep on doing that work. Yeah.
And one more thing I want to share with you, that the first responder की जो बात कर रहे हो ना, I may be the first responder. I will tell you one thing that I experienced personally. Before 5 years back, I was, this was in 2020, that was 3 years back, I was posted as SDM in some subdivision. And during this COVID, one hospital for the COVID patient was set up in my location. And that was basically the regional water sports center at Pong Dam. There was a hospital, their hostel was converted into a hospital, COVID hospital, and within 2 days, 50 COVID positive patients were admitted there. The local administrator, I have to visit all these patients once in 2 days to ask them about their health and about their food basically, what we provide them, any other needs. That I know, I have to go there, I know what to do, what to do, what not to do. Similarly, the situation, even in during the disaster, every member of a family, if he is aware what to do, what not to do, that can suffice the cause, and that can save the life of even my family members. Number one. Number two, we have trained these 15,000 people. We have trained it. It is not a false data. It is on our website. You can check it out. There are 1,500 Apda Mitars that have been trained. But what we experienced, NDRF people are sitting behind us. Ask these people, any one of such volunteers, whether they came to the rescue operation, such a rescue operation, to participate with these people? No. If disaster happens in my house, I will try to evacuate, I will try to do the things accordingly. If the same situation happens in my village, I will be scared that what will happen? I may die. My parents, my mother, my father, they will not, my sister, they will not allow me to go there. This is the mindset we have to change. It is not the women or the men. No, I think it is my personal view that this disparity should not be there in the society. Everyone is equal, whether the woman, if she finds that I can do this thing, she has to come out. She has to come out. No, it is our mindset, that is a woman, that is a man, she cannot do, she can do. No, nothing doing. Everyone can do. I cook myself for me and my family. I cook. Even today, how can you say? It is the duty of the women only. No. Everyone has to learn the things in his life. Whether that is a disaster, that is the household thing, or any other job. It is my opinion.
Thank you for raising this. Just to tell you about Uttarakhand, while you belong to the state. So the Home Secretary, Additional Secretary is Ridhim Agarwal, a woman. The commandant or the leading lady for fire services is again Nivedita. She's a female. And recently, I think in last 1 year, they had a lot of appointments of fire persons. And now the total number of females who are appointed, they were initially, when they were appointed, the total number of the total number, they were more than 20%. Can you imagine? And somehow because of their own priorities and other things, a lot of women have left and have gone to other departments or for doing other works. But still, now in the fire department, there are going to be women. You will see them trained in coming months, probably already positioned in all the fire service locations. So that's a big achievement for Uttarakhand to have. So that goes for Uttarakhand. That's one. But I was surprised to hear that you are at a distance of 200 kilometers from any emergency location. I really doubt that because 200 is not even if you look at the district, even Pithoragarh, I don't think there are no fire and emergency services stations within the vicinity of 50 kilometers or. I know. 90 from the location you live. Acha. Acha. And there are no fire services department. There is no existence. Huh? Would be good to understand that because that is something one should always look at. If there are no, there should be one. So please write to me. Please let me know those locations, and if there is anything we can do, we'll definitely make sure that something happens. Thank you.
Here's more light to throw on the same.
सेम सिचुएशन के बारे में मैं बताऊं आपको कि बेसिकली डिज़ास्टर हमने तो बिल्कुल लाइव देखा है एंड डिज़ास्टर को रेस्क्यू भी किया है लोगों को, हमने इवैक्यूएशंस भी की हैं एंड ऑल एवरी काइंड ऑफ डिज़ास्टर आई इन माय लाइफ हैज़ सीन राइट. मैं आपको एक इंस्टेंस बताता हूँ. देयर वाज वन डिस्ट्रिक्ट इन हिमाचल प्रदेश, डिस्ट्रिक्ट कुल्लू, एंड ड्यूरिंग दिस डिज़ास्टर वन पंचायत वाज टोटली कट ऑफ from these roads and all. There was no communication, even lights and all was totally damaged. Right, what the people they did, they only just have a communication with the local administration, that were our helpline 1077 and all that is there in all the states. They simply contacted the district administration that there is no road connectivity, we have lack of ration and all medical facilities, we are lacking of these medicines and all. There was no thing. अब इन सिचुएशन में व्हाट विल यू डू? Immediately the local administration has to respond to such queries and the such problems of the people. That is the life saving of the persons who are there stuck in the area where you cannot go, you don't have any other communication. What is there? We have a system that we immediately contact the army people, we hired their helicopter, and a number of sorties were done. All rations were provided to the people, all medical assistance was given, even hospital, even doctors, they were taken from the district hospital and thrown there. Basically what happens, we can give any ideas about it, but how to tackle the disaster immediately with proper situation और proper जो भी उसका protocol है, वो that matters. You cannot wait the other things. You have to save the life of the people. सबसे ज़्यादा हमारे को जो disaster में देखना है to safety of the people, safety of the community. That you have to take decisions immediately. You cannot even, I cannot talk to my deputy commissioner or to my chief secretary. No, I am the person, I am the deciding person. I have to take decision at my own level. Whatever suits you, you have to take. One more incident I said, there is one subdivision at Rodu, नज़दीक है यहाँ से. एक बार एक fire incident हो गया सर, और that area was near to this Tuni and all areas. हमारा जो फायर फाइटिंग इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स जो थे वो शिमला से आने थे, उनके पास कोई रोड ब्लॉक था या कुछ ऐसा था, तो शिमला से आने थे. तो शिमला से नहीं आने थे, वो उसको नियर बाई जो स्टेशन था आपका उत्तराखंड का, वहाँ के लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से बात करके उसने वहाँ से मंगवा लिया. यदि हम वेट करेंगे कि मेरा वहाँ से आपको, तो मतलब तो बेसिकली जो डिजास्टर के लिए जो हम रिस्पॉन्डर्स हैं, हमारे को तो देखना है कि व्हाट कैन बी डन फ्रॉम द वर्स्ट थिंग, व्हाट कैन बी डन बेटर फ्रॉम द वर्स्ट थिंग, राइट. हमने सबने एक रॉक गार्डन देखा है ना चंडीगढ़ में, व्हाट इज दैट? उसने तो सारा वहाँ से मतलब गंदी चीजें उठा करके, कचरा उठा करके, ही मेड ए न्यू थिंग. यू आर द मैनेजर बेसिकली, you are the manager, you have to manage the things. Whatever the resources you have, if you exploit such resources and take a good initiative out of those resources, you are a good manager. We cannot wait for the person coming from 200 km. No, my and their people, they come about to 300 kilometers. That will take. वो तो फिर रेस्क्यू का काम लास्ट का काम है. वन मोर थिंग मैं आपसे और एक शेयर करना चाहता हूँ कि हम लैक कहाँ करते हैं. हम लैक करते हैं द facilities provided to the victims post disaster. What happens in Shimla, जो हमारा शिमला में एक लैंडस्लाइड जो हुआ जिसमें कि 20 people they were buried, उसमें क्या था कि एक husband wife, the lady was pregnant to 7 months, her one daughter, उन्होंने क्या किया, उस लड़की को अपनी को बोला कि बेटे तू घर में रहे, मैं और पापा जो हैं वो जा करके मंदिर में पूजा करके आते हैं. They both went, they both died, right? One professor in Himachal Pradesh University, his wife, one his son, 3 आदमी जो थे वो तीनों मॉर्निंग में उसी टेंपल में चले गए. लैंडस्लाइड आया, तीनों मर गए. अब एक वो छोटा बच्चा 8 साल का अपना दादा दादी के पास, एक वो दूसरा बच्चा. इस टाइप से जो लोग रह जाते हैं, चाहे वो कोई भी है, whoever is he, क्या उसको पोस्ट डिजास्टर केयर इज टू बी टेकन बाय द एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, बाय दीज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वर्किंग इन दिस फील्ड? कोई किसी ने सर्वे किया? No one took this responsibility. जब ये ऐसे सर्वे NGOs करेंगी, हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस करेंगी, एंड दीज सर्विस कम टू आवर नॉलेज, और इफ वी हैव सम एजेंसीज, गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज, कि भाई जाओ तुम देखो तो सही कि बच्चे की एडमिशन हो रही है वहाँ पे एजुकेशन ले रहा है, नहीं ले रहा है, उसको खाने को मिल रहा है, दादा दादी ठीक लगा रहे हैं, नहीं लगा रहे हैं. एक तो उस ट्रॉमा से कभी निकलेगा नहीं वो बाहर, क्योंकि मम्मी पापा छोड़ के गए कि मैं ब्रेकफास्ट करेंगे बेटे आकर के, जस्ट वी आर गोइंग टू द टेम्पल, एंड दे नेवर केम बैक. Such are the situations you have to handle. These post-disaster activities, they are to be taken care of. Otherwise, pre-disaster तो कोई वो नहीं, preparedness सारे करे, पूरी states करती हैं. What happens during the disaster? It is out of control to the state. What requires thereafter is the post-disaster activities, post-disaster needs. Thank you very much.
Well, we would like to close on this rather positive note. After all, I mean, Balwant Saab started by training of task forces. अरे 1-2 मिनट रुकिए. He started with the training of task forces, and Sujata madam ended with the training also of the task force which was made up of women members. We are ending on a non-discriminatory and an inclusive note which would help in building capacities of the communities. And when we say communities, it is men, women, boys and girls together to further ensure that the vulnerabilities that did exist chronically as well as emergent are addressed in a systematic manner. I mean, like what Akhilesh as well was mentioning, cascaded approach. And later, what Sujata ended with, I would like to borrow from her, the way in which she explained the process that was adopted. She said that assessment, articulation, adaptation, and then advocacy. Whatever we talk about, we need to advocate the best practices. आज हम जब चर्चा कर रहे थे तो काफ़ी बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस भी सामने आए कि किस तरह से हमको आगे जाना है to advocate the best practices which later turn into reforming the policies and preparing or getting the codes done. How to get that thing done is left to all of us together, because if together, वो बच्चन साहब ने भी कहा था कल परसों कि together we have to fight and together we have to withstand the hazards so that they don't turn into disasters. Thank you all for attending this session. And as I said, you all do represent not just yourself, but many more and the experiences that you bring along with. Thank you so much and have a safe journey back to your homes and a safer life ahead. Thank you.